Shields up, Iron Breakers! How's everybody doing today on this fine Friday afternoon? Well, I say afternoon, it's past midday for me, so I guess that counts as afternoon. How y'all doing today? Y'all having a good time? Brothers, he's letting us gather around. Exactly. That's exactly what we're doing. What? Is something wrong? Seems you are confused. It's not Christmas, it's Halloween. This is fully natural. Like everything else about me, this is 100% natural. There are no shenanigans here. I promise you. What? Fully natural, my ass? I don't know about that. I think I'm wearing it wrong, though. Give me a second. I think I have to do like this, because otherwise it keeps falling off. It just kept falling off, except for the plastic line on the side. Yeah, that's just to hold it, though. Because my beard was getting too glorious, so we need... The fuck? Is this side less than this one? This one needs to come further down. Probably because my ears aren't symmetrical or something. That's the issue. Claws? No! This is not a white beard, it's a gray beard! This is an aging Santa, not already an old Santa. He got even older. He's finally ascended. Yes. The wise old con man has come to give us his wisdom. This is what we do. Bro, this is so uncomfortable. There's 0% chance that I'm going to keep this throughout the whole live stream. More like Gandalf? More like Ganondorf. I don't even know, dude. It's weird. It's weird. Anyway, as per usual at the beginning of every con's Anvil, need to give shoutouts to the Thanes! Colin LaShore, Crow Mag, Fulminus, Dan Pribernow, Louise Rosa. Thank you very much for being grossly incandescent as Thanes! You absolute gigachads. Tip of the hat. Appreciate support. Thank you. Master Roshi if he locks in. The Greybeards, didn't you hear that thundering sound when you returned to Whiterun? That's the voice of the Greybeards. Cries in 2K hours of Skyrim. It's like, I think I could do it if I didn't have like the upper portion. So like, if it was like this, the problem is that then it shows the chin. It's just so hairy. How about that? We can make it like this. That sounds good. That looks good, right? That looks decent. Look at that. That looks amazing. What are you talking about? It actually meshes with my natural beard somewhat. It's not too bad. Bro putting the gun in Gundalf. Lore accurate Rurikhan. So in case you guys are wondering why I was like 3 minutes late, it's because of this. I went to the store to buy this. Because I was like, oh, today is actually Halloween. You look just like Kratos. Yes. Just here to show my love before I start my workday. Thank you, V-Daddy-O. Mr. Beardman, tell Ruri to hop on stream. Ruri is on stream. What do you mean? I forgot to load up this thing. A second. Oh no. Nobody expects the sudden Rurikhan. There we go. Now I have everything. Santa, Rurikhan the Grey. I mean, Gandalf used to be Gandalf the Grey, then he became Gandalf the White. Was it Gandalf? Was he actually called Gandalf the Grey? I don't even know. You're late, Ruri. A wizard arrives precisely what he means to see. Yeah, that's a good idea. And all he needs is a hammer. There were actually some cool looking hammers, but I was like, what am I going to do? Hold a hammer the whole live stream? Doesn't make any sense. Spoilers? Yes, I'm sorry. For the Lord of the Rings spoilers. Got some bad news for Lord of the Rings, too. Today. For the MMO. It is what it is. It is what it is, and it ain't what it ain't. So we got some stuff we need to talk about today. All you need is a dog and a shock collar. Jesus Christ. Collargate is going to follow us forever. Forever. Why is it so hard to make a good Lord of the Rings game, man? Yeah, I know. It's rough. I actually like the Two Towers one for PlayStation. That was pretty good. Is that Daddy Con? I mean, sure. That's what you want to call it. Let's go ahead and get into some of these news that we have here today, because it's gonna get interesting and it's gonna get wild. Let me just turn on the like this beard is hot. To hydrate. I'm probably gonna swallow some beard hair. Which is bad. At least you don't have a partner that shames you for moldy cheese and turns your power off. I don't get that reference. I don't understand that reference, sir. That sounded very specific. Oh, Mizkif? Damn. I'm guessing there's a lot of dirty laundry being aired up about Mizkif harassing Emaru. Jesus. Bro, what is it with some streamers just reaching a certain size where they just need to go buck wild and do the most heinous shit imaginable? Like, what's up with that? Lots of drama about can't be asked to stay in the loop. Yeah. Big true. It's kind of hard to keep up with all the dramas that have been going around. But anyway, we need to talk about this. This is actually this actually affects me directly, and this is going to be something that it doesn't just affect me, it also affects you guys, which kind of makes it like a good time for me to remind y'all. In case you guys don't usually get notifications from YouTube or anything, we do have a Discord server. There is a link in the description of this video / live stream. There's a link, like if you go to the description, the bottom of the description, there's a link there to Discord. And in the Discord, there's 2 channels. New video is up and we're live streams. And I always post in here before I go live, or I always post in here whenever there's a new video that goes out. Because basically what's going to be happening is notifications are just going to get worse if my theory is correct. Okay? Not just my theory, but some of the things that you guys are going to be seeing in today's stream for sure. So, YouTube offers voluntary buyouts as company reorganizes around AI. So, what is going to happen is this is a voluntary exit program. So this is usually not something that a healthy company does, but despite the fact that YouTube has record profits, I think, or something like that, I think I've read somewhere that YouTube was actually profitable. Quite a lot, as it turns out. Despite that, they're offering people, if you want, you can leave and we'll give you like a severance package and all of that stuff, which usually when this is happening in a company, this usually means, oh, it's time for me to get to work on my resume. Even if you don't take the exit package and all of that stuff, this is usually a nice little signal just to let you know, oh, I should probably start brushing up on my resume and all of that good stuff. So if we get in here It says YouTube is offering voluntary buyouts with severance for US-based employees as it restructures its product organization to focus more on artificial intelligence. Now, this is something that I was already pretty much, we've all been feeling it, right? If you guys look at your description, not your description, if you guys look at your homepage on YouTube, you'll see more and more AI slop. I've gotten a lot of complaints about this. I've seen a lot of a lot of comments in my comment section about this. And you just get like more and more artificial intelligence in there. On top of it, it's getting harder and harder for you to actually get recommendations from content creators that you are following and stuff like that. The homepage is becoming just harder and harder to break into. It's just getting worse and worse and worse. And I find it interesting because whenever I talk about this, there's a lot of people like, I can configure my homepage and it's just like absolutely perfect and it never shows anything that I don't like. And it's like, I don't believe you. Sorry, it's just that simple. I don't believe you, but whatever. The move comes as Google CEO Sundar Pichai pushes employees to boost productivity by using AI across the company. This is not just a Google thing, by the way. Every company is implementing AI. Every single tech company is implementing AI across the board. Electronic Arts has also had a news article. I haven't really been following that one as closely, but it's ever since they got that, what was it called? Stability AI or whatever, because basically they've been acquired by the Saudis, and after that, they are implementing this Stability AI, and it's been reported that it's being implemented across the board, and employees are actually expected to train this AI on their art so that it can be used as generative AI and all of that stuff. So fundamentally replacing a lot of the creative process on Electronic Arts. But this is just to point out the fact that this is not just a Google thing. It's not just a YouTube thing. It's pretty much 90% of tech-based companies are kind of like doing this right now. But basically, he goes on to say, an internal memo to staff, YouTube CEO Neil Mohan said the platform is reorganizing its product teams for the first time in a decade. Looking to the future, the next frontier for YouTube is AI, a YouTube spokesperson said in a statement to CNBC. The buyouts were first reported by Alex Heath at Sources. YouTube said no roles are being eliminated as part of the change. Yes, no roles are being eliminated. They're going to be replaced by cheaper labor, which is usually the way that it goes. Under the new structure, 3 product groups will now report directly to Mohan. Christian Oestlian, previously Vice President of Product Manager, will lead the Subscription Products Division, which oversees YouTube Music and Premium, YouTube TV, Primetime Channels, Podcasts, and Commerce. Chief Product Officer Johanna Vulic will lead the Viewer Products team, which covers YouTube's main app, Living Room, Search and Discovery, YouTube Kids, Learning, and Trust and Safety. And there's another one that they're not showing here, but they say companies across the tech industry are reshaping their workforces as they adapt rapidly advances to AI and also reckoning with other challenges, like higher costs from tariffs. On Tuesday, Amazon announced plans to lay off about 14,000 corporate employees as it invests in AI initiatives. I find it interesting that they talk about under the new structure, there'll be 3 product groups, and then they only talk about 2 of those product groups, but it's okay. I'll tell you guys what the third one is. The third one involves content creators, okay, as well as community building. But in light of this news, I was thinking to myself, like, what's going to happen? Like, how is this actually going to affect content creators? Because obviously, this is going to affect content creators. The simple fact that there's a bunch of people that are getting laid off, it's already kind of like hard to reach any type of human on YouTube, which basically means that you are going to have more and more problems. And whenever there's an issue with one of your videos, which again, and we actually have an example of that as well, which you guys might remember. Let me just go over to the channel and I can show you guys. So if we actually go to my channel, you might remember that there was a video that I did on the Emaru situation where I showed the specific video where the thing was happening, which is this video right here, the first one. And that video got flagged, community warned, and removed. Okay, so I received a community warning. It wasn't a community strike, but it is a warning. It was a community warning, all of that jazz, and they straight up removed the video. Video was gone, which is why I did another one where I didn't go over the actual video. I just spoke about the situation, all of that stuff. Recently, by the way, zero communication whatsoever. The video just went up. I didn't put it up. This video that was supposedly deleted from my channel by YouTube, it just went back up out of nowhere. I think I might still have the community warning active on the channel. That's another thing. I'm not 100% sure if I do or not. Let me see. Important notifications. No. I don't see a warning. I don't even know if I have a community warning on my channel anymore or not. This is the weirdest thing. But basically the point is, obviously, you know, it's just going to be harder and harder to get anybody over on YouTube to look at a content creator's video if there's any kind of issues going on with that video or whatever. But that's not the only thing. So I figured out, okay, since we're all talking about AI and all this stuff, let's go to the AI that is going to look the most favorably at everything that YouTube and Google does. So this will be the AI that would be the most biased to present this on a positive note. And that AI is Gemini, because that is Google's Gemini. So I went to Gemini and I asked, hey, how is this going to impact content creators? Like, tell me more about this move by YouTube, what's going on, yada, yada, yada. And I had the AI do this thing where Gemini has a function called deep research, where it just goes like, Google's like a fuckload of things and tries to write like a coherent report on everything that is going on, right? And so here's a couple of things. Number one, the structural overhaul that is going to happen at YouTube. YouTube CEO Neil Mohan positioned the structural reorganization as the first major update to the company's core leadership structure in 10 years. Effective November 5th, so this starts in about 5 days, the restructuring consolidates product teams into 3 distinct centralized organizations, all reporting directly to the CEO. This flattened organizational architecture is designed for rapid decision-making and efficient deployment of core strategic initiatives. The 3 new pillars of YouTube's strategy are subscription products, viewer products, and creator and community products. So this is the one that is not mentioned in the article. I don't know why, but this is the one that is probably the most important one for me because that is the one that involves content creators. The subscription products team, led by Christian Olstlin, focuses on high-margin revenue streams like YouTube Music and Premium, YouTube TV, and other over-the-top and commerce initiatives. This group is critical for diversifying revenue away from the volatile ad market. Yeah, because this is where YouTube makes money from YouTube Premium, which I would imagine a lot of people are actually subscribed to YouTube Premium, considering that the website is almost unusable without it. This group is critical for diversifying the revenue from the volatile ad market. The viewer products team, headed by Chief Product Officer Johanna Vulic, oversees the core platform experience, including search and discovery. This is another problem because a search and discovery is just going to implement AI. It is going to easily be manipulated. It already is manipulated, and it's very hard to kind of like penetrate the YouTube search algorithm, but whatever. Living room experiences, TV, educational content, and significantly trust and safety. This unit is central to deploying AI-driven recommendation engines and content moderation tools, directly linking platform health to user retention. Finally, the Creator and Community Products organization is tasked with managing creator support, building communities, and accelerating the integration of generative AI tools for content creation. Now, this is the part that not everybody is going to be aware of, but this is something that YouTube has been pushing for quite some time. They want to use generative AI for content creation. And once we start getting to the AI part of this, you guys are not going to like what's, at least I hope you guys wouldn't like what's coming. I definitely don't like what's coming, but we're gonna get into it. The structure reveals a key strategic prioritization by placing critical functions like subscription, direct revenue, viewer experience, AI, trust and safety, platform deployment and control, and creator products, AI tool integration directly under the CEO. The company is optimized for rapid AI deployment. rapid AI deployment. The creator and community group is thereby structurally positioned to manage human creators primarily as inputs essential to the platform's overarching strategy. Supporting viewer and subscription growth rather than as protected bespoke partners, this organizational design serves the overarching AI mandate and economic efficiency goals. So, subscription products. Potential platform favoritism towards content driving subscriptions, new paid feature opportunities. So basically, if there's content that kind of incentivizes you guys to buy YouTube Premium, then that content will be favored by the algorithm. Centralization of content enforcement linked directly to mass viewer retention metrics. So basically, if your content does not retain users, it's going to get obliterated, which already is the case. And then emphasis on scalable, not personalized human support. So mostly clankers doing community support. Shift towards AI power assistance. But this isn't even the worst part. So there's more. In here, they're talking about how it's just going to be, Gemini is explaining how it's going to be harder for you to actually get assistance from everyone and how the moderation is going to be problematic. And there's more to talk about when it comes to content moderation, because there are more news. This is not the only thing. But then the other one that I wanted to talk about is this one. The AI strategic threat model marginalizing human content. The restructuring, VEP or volunteer exit programs, and creator management layoffs converge to support the platform's ultimate strategic objective. And before we go any further, I just want to remind you guys, this is the AI that has the most incentive to look positively at any change that Google or YouTube makes. I specifically asked this AI because it would be biased in the favor of YouTube. Okay? Continuing. The platform's ultimate strategic objective, the comprehensive integration of artificial general intelligence, AGI, into the core business model, presenting a fundamental existential threat to the existing economic viability of the human creator. The next frontier, strategic justification for corporate restructuring. The AI imperative is the explicit justification for the entire corporate realignment. There's an actual quote from the guy where he says that looking to the future, the next frontier for YouTube is AI. AI is the next frontier for YouTube, which has the potential to transform every part of the platform, necessitating a complete organizational setup to maximize this opportunity. The platform is rapidly developing and rolling out AI tools, ostensibly to support human creators at the moment. These tools include Dream Screen, AI backgrounds for shorts, Dream Track, AI music generation, and the comprehensive YouTube Create video editing application. While marketed as enhancing creativity and protecting creator likeness, these tools simultaneously serve to standardize and lower the entry barrier for content production, which is a prerequisite for scaling up platform-owned automated content. The 100% margin thesis, modeling the economic inversion. The core threat to the professional creator stems not from competition, but from the economic fiduciary duty governing the platform's leadership. The CEO of a public company is legally obligated to maximize shareholder value. This duty directly conflicts with the existing creator remuneration model. The current system relies on the YouTube Partner Program, wherein creators receive a 55% chance of the advertising and subscription revenue generated by their content. I actually thought the split was 60-40. Maybe that's changed? I thought it was 60-40. I could swear it was 60-40 back in the day, but yeah. This 55-45 split, while lucrative for high-performing creators, represents a significant cost input for the platform owner. The economic threat materializes when AI video models achieve quality parity with human production, which, by the way, we're pretty much already there. And if we're not there, we're going to be there within like 12 months, which technological analysts suggest is rapidly approaching. Marked by sophisticated storytelling, collapsing generation speeds. By the way, when I mean quality parity with human productions, I mean you can get, the same quality as a human content creator. You can't really get the same value because the personality of the AI is not really there yet, but it can get there. Anyways, Marked by sophisticated storytelling, collapsing generation speeds from hours to minutes, and falling hardware requirements. When YouTube/Alphabet generates, hosts, and owns the full rights to high-quality AI video content internally, that content yields a 100% margin. Now, there is another thing that we should talk about here, which is the simple fact that for as much as we all say, like, you know, oh, I own my IP, yada, yada, yada. It's like, who is hosting all of these videos? Like the video you're watching right now, if you're watching on YouTube, because there are some people also watching on X and watching on Twitch, but if you are watching on YouTube, who is hosting the video? YouTube is hosting the video. Therefore, for all intents and purposes, YouTube can just go scrape the most popular videos in the platform. Scrape them. And use it to generate more content. And what are we going to do about it? Where's the evidence? Where's the evidence of any of this happening? That's right. That's right. Scrape. Yeah, scrape basically just means that they can use it to train their own AI model. And there's nothing really that we can do about it. There's like literally nothing. Like if YouTube just decides, I want to train an AI model on Rurikhan's channel, where do I have proof that YouTube is doing this? There's no proof. There's nothing I can do. Although they probably wouldn't use me because my channel is not successful enough. They'd go up to the content creators that have like millions and millions of subs. Like probably someone like Jacksepticeye, for instance. And I say Jacksepticeye because I know he is deeply against this type of shit. So, but yeah, YouTube could just literally scrape the entirety of Jacksepticeye's channel and just use it to generate content. Just put in the input, copy this dude's homework, but make it seem like you didn't copy it. Boom, done. Yeah, absolutely. They can absolutely do it. Yeah, and even if you do have proof, how do you fight that? Oh yeah, let me go ahead and take Google to court. That'll work. Anyway, continuing onwards. When YouTube/Alphabet generates, hosts, and owns a full right to quality video content internally, that content yields 100% margin. If AI content is economically superior because it has a 100% margin, since YouTube is basically generating its own content at that point by training its AI models on content creators, like you could basically scrape the most popular gaming videos and then just have an AI generate content out of that information that would be like the most popular gaming content. And then the question becomes, why would the search algorithm prioritize someone who's not doing that? I mean, I've already, from my personal experience, I've already noticed, and I know that some people dispute these claims. YouTube definitely disputes these claims, but I've already noticed from personal experience that whenever a video that you have is not monetized or happens to get demonetized because of like some type of thing that you did with your content, or if you quite simply choose not to monetize a video for whatever reason, those videos get no priority whatsoever in the search rankings because they're making YouTube no money. Hell, I've gone as far as to test the fact that if you don't put mid-roll ads on your videos, they do worse than if you do put mid-roll ads on your videos. That's how deep it goes. It's not even just about it being monetized. It needs to be monetized to the nth degree. And if you put like 1 or 2 mid-roll ads on your videos versus putting it on auto, that's another thing as well. YouTube will still prioritize the ones that are on auto because they just chuck them full of fucking ads. That's just the way that it goes. Like, you guys want to see how many ads your average video gets? Because this is not something that everybody gets to take a back look into, but I'll show you what it looks like from the back. I don't give a fuck, bro. Like, let's look at one of my recent podcasts, like the Third Fleet podcast, right? Let's look at that. Let's look at where YouTube decided that it needed to put ads. This is the latest Third Fleet podcast. 6 minutes, 18 minutes, 25 minutes, 30 minutes, 43 minutes, 50 minutes. This one's not even that bad. If we then go to a live stream, like let me go over here to a live stream just to show you. Let's go to our latest Monster Hunter live stream. Bro, there is no shame. There is no shame, dude. Woo! Now, I should mention, these are potential ad spots. Like, not every one of these spots is an ad. But yeah, that's how it goes. That's how it goes. So YouTube is always very incentivized to monetize all of that bullshit. Anyways, if AI content's economically superior, 100% margin, to human content, 45% margin after payout, the inevitable outcome dictated by the fiduciary responsibility of maximizing shareholder value is the structural favoring of proprietary AI-generated content within the powerful recommendation engine. Again, big reminder, Gemini, the Google AI, the one who should look upon anything Google does more favorably. This economic inversion mandates the long-term marginalization of human creators based purely on cost and revenue potential. The VEP, or Volunteer Exit Program, which they provided their employees, only on the US, by the way, which targeted technical and product roles, and the creator management layoffs, which reduced operational support staff, are both manifestations of a singular strategic decision, diverting capital away from high headcount reliance, human management, and content costs, and reallocating it towards highly leveraged, high-margin automated systems. The platform is shifting resources from systems designed to support humans to systems designed to leverage AI, fundamentally eroding the human creator's economic value proposition. Now, there's some more stuff in here that I had asked the AI, but yeah, this is kind of like the most important part. And again, this is an analysis from an AI, so it's worth what it's worth. Maybe all of this is completely wrong, whatever, but it makes sense. Not to mention, it lines up with pretty much the way that meetings have gone whenever I have a meeting with my content managing partner, because there's like usually someone that they assign to YouTube content creators whenever they reach a certain size, and you get to have meetings with this person, and they'll give you like advice on the stuff that you should do. I kid you not, every single one of the meetings that I've always had with the partner manager over at YouTube, and I do mean every single one, there was always a part of the meeting where they go like, so hey, are you enjoying the membership program? Now, the membership program, for those of you that aren't aware, is the whole thing where you guys hit the join button on the thing. There's like a join button below this video. You guys get like the badges and all of that stuff. And it was basically them telling me like, you need to remind your audience that they should join, that they should support the content. It went to a point where one of them says, you can even, you know, tell them like, hey, if you guys don't support the content, it might go away. I was like, what am I, Dark Side fucking Phil? Like, what the fuck is going on here, bro? Like, what do you mean? But yeah, that's something that was brought up at literally every single meeting I've ever had with a partner manager. Like, I could start the meeting talking about like, hey, this video got flagged for some bullshit, yada yada. I'm trying to figure this out with this video here. And before the meeting was over, we would have to talk about memberships and best practice suggestions for people to do super chats and subscribe. And it's like, bro, what the fuck, dude? It's insane. But yeah, that is the way that it goes. That is the way that it goes. So they want us all to just watch AI slop and ads. Absolutely. It's that pod thing. Guys, remember the pod future where we're all living in pods? And we just get like, well, no, it was Idiocracy. Idiocracy was the one where you would watch like ads to pay for things. Kind of that's pretty much what they want. That is pretty much what they want. Which is sad, because basically it is moving away from what made YouTube amazing. Because the whole thing about YouTube, the reason YouTube is as popular as it is because of communities. You know, content creators generate communities around them of people that get together to, you know, enjoy a common, something that they all enjoy. Like in the case of my channel, it's usual something related to either Monster Hunter or the Soul series, and sometimes other video games as well. But for the most part, in my channel, it would be our shared passion of Soul series and Monster Hunter. And basically, we have this whole community around that of people that enjoy that type of stuff. Now, YouTube believes that what you should have is people that just want to watch late night shows and all of that bullshit, because all those get completely exempt. And then just AI slop. Just AI slippity slop all over the place. There's even theories that they believe that YouTube wants to become the next Netflix or whatever. I don't know enough about that one to get into it, but I definitely believe that this AI stuff, this is definitely going to be something that we will have to consider. Like, maybe it's not as dystopian as it's being presented here by Gemini, but it is definitely something that we'll have to tend with sooner rather than later. So things, they are a-changing, and that's not all. Because naturally, good news never comes alone. So we have some more news for YouTube. YouTube will age restrict more content showing graphic violence in video games. Now, this is something that has been happening already. Like, if you guys remember, because in our case, it wasn't even violent content. It was just like, we were making fun of the fact that some dude in Neo had like, because you know, the way that they used to dress in feudal Japan, and he has like just, he just has like his Speedo on, and we were saying, oh, look, we can see his cheeks. And that was enough. That video got age restricted. But anyway, YouTube is updating its policy to age restrict more content containing video game scenes with graphic violence. The company announced on Tuesday. The update will go into effect on November 17th and will prevent accounts under 18 and signed out users from watching videos with game focused on showing realistic human characters involved in scenes of mass violence against non-combatants or torture. When choosing whether to restrict a video, YouTube says it will take the length of the graphic scene into account, as well as whether it's zoomed in or the main focus of a scene. It will also evaluate whether the video shows violence targeted at a character that looks like a real human. YouTube's post doesn't clarify if this applies to the violence seen in games like Grand Theft Auto, a Call of Duty sequence like the infamous No Russian mission, or the kinds of realistically rendered scenes. However, YouTube spokesperson Boot Bullwinkle said in a statement to The Verge that certain content may be age restricted if it's non-fleeting or zoomed in, adding that there may be ways the creator can choose to play the mission to avoid content that would lead to an age restriction. Creators can also choose to blur or obscure the violence, according to Bullwinkle. The update builds upon YouTube's existing policies, which state that the platform may restrict videos featuring dramatized violence focused on torture, severe injuries, or violent deaths with blood, with an exception for games. The current policy says, generally, we do not remove dramatized violence when the content or metadata lets us know that the content is fictional, or when it's apparent from the content itself, such as with animated content or video games. YouTube's policies are designed to adapt to the evolving digital world, and these updates reflect our ongoing commitment to protect younger users and foster a responsible platform. Protect younger users?! Do we, need to talk about that Elsa Gate? Or, It's always about protecting the younger users. It's a bunch of bullshit is what it is, dude. It's a bunch of bullshit. Yeah, YouTube Kids. That's why you have YouTube Kids. Literally why you have YouTube Kids. Get the fuck out of here with that excuse. Just get out of here, bro. In addition to stricter policies surrounding video games, the update will also prevent creators from directing users to online gambling content involving digital goods, like video game skins, cosmetics, or NFTs. You know what? Fucking based. This one's actually fucking based. The problem is I don't trust the AI to judge whether or not I'm directing users to gambling content. Especially because, like, oftentimes we'll be like in Monster Hunter and we're doing something that's RNG, and I'll just go like, it's Gamba time. That will be like instantly the AI's gonna be like, oh, he said Gamba. There we go. There we go. He's promoting online gambling straight up, because that's the way that it always goes. YouTube stopped allowing creators to verbally mention or display the online gambling services not approved by Google in March. The platform started blocking approved online gambling content for users under 18 at this time, and now it's planning to age restrict social casino content as well. You know what? This is actually pretty fucking based. This part of the update, pretty fucking based. I agree. Good. Prevent people from directing users to online gambling content. Should probably prevent them from directing users to the stock market as well, because that's the biggest casino of the fucking world. I wish I had gotten into YouTube back in like 2016. Bro, I got into YouTube in 2007. It was a wild platform back then. Those were the good old days, dude. Those were the good old days. So anyways, naturally, to kind of like conclude this segment, I decided, you know what, let's go ahead and ask Gemini what it thinks about the efficiency of YouTube when it comes to determining whether or not, you know, content is violent. The likelihood that YouTube's new restrictions on violent gaming content will cause significant problems for a relevant segment of gaming content creators is high. I would estimate it at 70 to 80%. $70 to 80%. Oh my God. While YouTube states that most channels will experience little to no impact, the history of AI-based moderation changes, combined with the new policies focused on nuanced content, points to a period of major disruption for creators in the realistic violence niche. Here is a breakdown of why the likelihood is high. The immediacy of creator impact already happening. The problems are not theoretical, they're already being reported. Retroactive flagging, creators are reporting that existing, long-standing videos from major titles like Red Dead Redemption 2, Call of Duty, and Cyberpunk 2077 are already being flagged for warning or demonetization, even before the November 17th enforcement date. Monetization at risk. Age-restricted videos are limited to sign-in users over 18 and are often excluded from personalized advertising, which is a key driver of revenue, which, by the way, if you are excluded from personalized advertisement and your video is age-restricted, your video also gets completely crapped on when it comes to search rankings, regardless if this is actually interesting for the user searching for the video or not. So basically, homepage is also out of the question. For channels focused on mature, highly realistic, and action-oriented games, this directly threatens their business model. The AI is an inherent challenge with nuance. As discussed, the new policy is highly dependent on subjective context, which strains AI tools. Realistic human characters. AI must distinguish between a generic game enemy like a Doom Demon and a character that looks like a real person, GTA Civilian. False positives on violence against realistic looking but non-human characters. Prominence duration. AI must track if the graphic scene is zoomed in, sustained, or the main focus of a clip. Bro, ain't no fucking way! AI couldn't even figure out if I could show the clip of the assault at TwitchCon from Emiru. Not only they couldn't figure it out, when I appealed and they said like, oh, you're showing content for sexual gratification, yada, yada, yada. And then I appealed to that. The appeal came back within like 5 seconds. So they just gave it to another AI to look at. And the AI looked at, no, the first AI was right. It's like, bro, no. And here it is. AI must track if graphics scene is zoomed in, sustained, or the main focus of a clip, which is difficult without high-level context. Inconsistency in application leading to unpredictable restriction of similar videos. Retroactive scanning. The AI must apply these new, highly nuanced rules to a backlog of millions of older videos. Mass age restriction of entire channel libraries, causing a sudden massive drop to a creative's addressable audience and revenue. The GTA 6 conundrum. The timing of this stricter enforcement is widely viewed as a preemptive measure ahead of the anticipated release and massive content surge for games like Grand Theft Auto 6. YouTube is likely trying to get away with the inevitable wave of graphic content and prevent advertiser backlash. While this protects the platform, it places the burden of adaptation squarely on creators, which it always fucking does, who may feel pressured to either heavily edit their content, blurring, trimming, or more to less restricted platforms like Kick or Rumble. In short, creators who focus on the most popular, realistic, and violent open world or shooter games are facing a significant overhaul of their operations, with substantial financial risks due to the nature of AI moderation being fast but often inaccurate when dealing with gray areas. So, just to kind of like wrap this up with a nice little bow tie, what is happening to YouTube right now? What is happening is the following. YouTube is going to be moving more towards generative AI for as much as they can. Some of it will be used synergistically with content creators so that content creators feel like YouTube is taking care of them. And then eventually, once they train their AIs enough, they're going to replace those content creators with generated AI content because they can get 100% profit on said content and they don't have to share with the content creators, thus throwing the content creators under the proverbial bus, which they're quite happy to do quite often. It's not really a problem for them because there's millions of people that want to be YouTube content creators. Shit, my son wants to be a YouTube content creator. And every kid, like a lot of kids at his school look to me like a hero because I make YouTube videos like this is some big fucking deal. So YouTube has no shortage of people that want to come in and create content. And now they want to replace all of those people and they can afford to just abuse content creators as much as they want because, like I said, there's a bunch of more people to come around and replace them. It's just that easy. So we are training the AI bots to throw us under the bus. Yeah, that's pretty much how it goes, Nox. It's pretty much how it goes. That internet theory is going to happen now. Yeah. AI watching Ruri criticize AI flags video as violent content. Yeah, true. YouTube's AI can just flag this video. It's like, hey, that motherfucker talking shit to me. How dare you? I see that in my industry, actually. Yeah, I'm not surprised, Tom. So for those of you that don't know, my friend Tom, he actually works for a TV chain here in Portugal, like one of the big ones, one of the really big TV chains. So the fact that he sees this in his industry as well is not surprising. The moment YouTube goes full steam ahead with generative AI slop, I go to other places. I watch Tube for people, not for content. Yeah, but that's the problem. That's the problem. That's not what YouTube wants. And you can already tell that, you know, even in this stream, you can tell due to the amount of concurrent viewers that we have. YouTube's not promoting this stream all that much. YouTube hasn't been promoting most of my content for ages. It's just the way that it goes. It's the way that it goes. We're slowly going to be replaced. But when you upload a video, you can select gaming. Why the hell would they allow AI to flag that like IRL shit? They're not. They're specifically targeting gaming. Violent gaming that looks like real people. So realistic graphics. They're specifically tagging that. I'd rather go back to Twitch. Twitch ain't doing that much better either, don't you worry about that. I love that they're turning YouTube into YouTube Kids version 2. Well, it is their LLM, so they know how much it will fuck up. What a Krogan is Solarian. Introverts are so screwed, their socialization will be with AI, not actual humans. Internet gonna die. Yep. Like, listen, guys, some of my favorite multiplayer gaming has been done on a tabletop now. The beginning of the dead internet theory. Yep. Will Monster Hunter count for this list? To be honest, I don't know. Because, like, right now they're saying it's human-on-human violence. Tomorrow they can say it's any kind of violence. The day after they can say we don't want blood. So, yeah. Monster Hunter doesn't show blood. Some of it does. Bot-on-bot violence. Polygon Monsters now required to upload Monster Hunter. Yeah, we need to go get that that Polygon Monsters mod. Is that your Halloween beard? Yes. You like it? It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. Maybe it's good and we can go back to real life. Like, listen, that's what I was saying, bro. That's what I've been doing, man. Like, I cannot recommend enough that people get involved with, like, their local hobby stores if you have a hobby store. Like, I cannot recommend this enough at this point. Like, just the social experience of standing face to face with somebody else, beating them senseless at a video game. It's fantastic. Not a video game, at a game. See, guys, because, like, yesterday I completed my second kill team. Look at that. Look at these boys. They're ready. They're going to the tournament tomorrow. This is them. These are, like, the support units, the ones with the blue shoulder pads. Wait. This is just a warrior, so he doesn't get any fancy shoulder pads, just gets regular shoulder pads. He also doesn't get to see any action. I never take the warrior on my roster. This is like the specialist unit, so there's a medic, white shoulder pads, leader, gold shoulder pads, punchy boy, no shoulder pads because he just punches people, and jump back warrior, black shoulder pads. Then we have the gunners, yellow shoulder pads. I gave them yellow shoulder pads because they're going to be fucking hazardous to the enemy team, okay? They're going to shred through everything. Look at these bad boys. You want to know why this guy has sunglasses? So that he doesn't get blinded by the explosions of his rocket launcher, okay? As he blasts people to smithereens. Fantastic, dude. And this guy, the detail on these dudes is so crazy. He actually has a grenade pin in his mouth. There's actually a Dwarves game in LVO. I don't know what LVO is. Watch the AI censor Nintendo content, maybe. You're getting better, it looks like. Thank you, Anderson. I appreciate that. I am getting a little bit better at it. I mean, you're expected to. Yeah. It's the at Las Vegas Open? There's a Dwarfs game at the Las Vegas Open. Wait, Jaegers versus Salvagers? What the fuck? Bro, I'm gonna get the shit beat out of me tomorrow. I can't believe you're not gonna be there. Feels bad, bro. Probably can't even say kill team bots flag it. I'm not gonna show the game, Tom. It's probably like copyrighted to shit. We're in the yellow now. Did such talk about violence on YouTube? Yeah, maybe. Oh yeah, I meant to also grab this website. Let me grab this real quick. Oh damn, the website looking nice and spiffy. Ah, we have new things for characters and monsters. We're gonna go over all of that. Fan-friggin-tastic. Good stuff. Game Freak looks at Monster Hunter Stories 3 and can only dream. True. Big true. We're gonna hit a point where the only thing on YouTube will be cat videos, since they can't replace those. They can artificially generate cat videos now. Urnkin versus Battleclade. Did the Urnkins win at least? Because I beat the Battleclades. No, wait, was it Battleclade? Yeah, I think it was the Battleclades. I beat the Battleclades on the last game with with Mad. He was so mad. Nox, you should have seen how mad he was when I started using guard. He got so mad. I was like, so I put this guy on guard. And he's like, what do you mean? Well, yeah, he's on guard, so he can shoot later. And then he does his turn. And I'm like, and now I put this guy on guard. And he's like, wait, what the fuck? And I was like, yep. You can have 2 guys on guard? And I was like, yes. And he's like, okay. So then he played again. And I was like, okay, so my guy on guard's going to shoot. And then it's my turn again, and I'm going to shoot. And then he does something else. And now this other guy on guard's going to shoot. And I just wrecked like the 2 big guys on Battleclade. I just fucking wreck them. Oh, it's funny. It was so funny. Did you use the dude that double guards? No, I was playing Salvagers, bro. I was playing Salvagers. It was funny because we got to a point where it was like, well, it's counteract. Well, I want to go and guard. And it's like, oh, you can't guard on counteract. It's like, there's no rule that says I can't guard on counteract, but there's an errata that actually says, actually, you can't guard on counter because that'd be fucking broken. I saw a video of a whale saving a panther or something, and all the YouTube moms were blessing the Lord in the comments. Was this because of the new buffs? Oh no, I was playing with the old rules, Dan. I was playing without the buffs. I just beat his ass. Free has an AI beard. Yes, AI. Very AI. All right. You got a sip of water. It's a real beard. Check your eyes. Look at how it flows. Can I just say that the material that they glue the beard on, the one that actually goes in contact with your face, is some of the most uncomfortable piece of garbage fabric I've ever had rubbed up against me. It is so uncomfortable. It's like there's 1,000 fleas biting me under this beard. I just hope that you guys can appreciate the sacrifice that I'm going through to do this for you guys. Okay? I hope you guys can appreciate that. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. Anyway, let's talk about Monster Hunter Stories 3. So, as we speak during this live stream, the Monster Hunter Festa is happening over in Paris during Paris Games Week. I've ordered a pack of cards that I'm going to be doing like an opening of cards thingamajig, but we did get a brand new release trailer. So we're going to be watching it, we're going to be checking it out, and then there's another video which is like an introduction video to Monster Hunter Stories 3, which I think is a good idea because there's a lot of people that still don't know exactly what Monster Hunter Stories is all about. Because I most definitely believe that Monster Hunter Stories should be way more successful than what it is. So, let's jump in here. Let me just pause the music.
Wow. What a spectacular view. This land is truly blessed.
It is, for now. But the encroachment keeps affecting more and more of it. Blightstone Woods, just for one example.
Diabolus!
Take heart. The fact that you've preserved as much as you have is something to be applauded. Sites like this are a forgotten memory for us in Vermeil.
If Vermeil is to survive, our people need help now. If nothing
Damn.
else, the Sacrosanctum offers them the hope they need to live. I will not idly sit on the throne as our nation faces its death.
The stop!
Oh, Eleanor.
What? Don't do this!
A sky scale. It has been many years.
That
Sky
woman with the
scale.
Rathalos. I'm certain she was my mother. Why did she come here? For what reason did she cross the Meridian?
You're not the only one here who's curious about Lady Amara.
The future of Azuria rests on your shoulders, and you sat yourself down right in front of an assassin. Are you out of your mind?
I know this is a lot to take, but just try to remember the old saying. Wings of curiosity take you farther than a cage of caution.
I like that character.
Has the encroachment truly caused so much destruction over there?
Scores of villages have been consumed by crystal. The capital is flooded with refugees, with nowhere to rest their heads.
Our village has long kept these canines as our wards. This is a threat to our very way of life. The dwindling of our canine population. The onset of...
Wait, are we going to
feral
Kimura?
beasts. All of it started when that monster came to this land. No, it would be more fitting to call it a force of nature.
This is it.
The living mountain. Yamatsukami.
Yamatsukami! Bro, see, I have to agree with Tilted Glory Gaming. They show too much.
Order up.
So wait, the princess cooks for us? Layered armor for Eleanor, Scale Scale Queen. Layered armor for the protagonist. If you own Monster Hunter Rise, if you own Stories 2, if you own Stories 1, you get all of this armor. I guess. Yeah, save data bonuses. Premium Deluxe Edition. Base game, Deluxe Kit. Wait, what? Dude, this character I like a lot. He looks like a dwarf. I like this dude a lot. Can I play this guy? I just want to play this guy. Okay, screw the main character. I'm playing this guy. The hair spoils some monsters. Yeah. Like, obviously, Arkveld over here. What's his name? Freaking Malzeno. Maybe Primordial even. No, wait, not Malzeno. Yes, Malzeno. Malzeno, Magnamalo. No, wait, this is Ray Dow. Ray Dow we already knew. We also knew about Magnamalo. We didn't know about Malzeno. Although, I had theorized that one of the eggs was Malzeno's. So there's that. That's pretty cool. There's also a couple of... there were a couple of monsters that...
But the encroachment keeps affecting more.
And the other thing is that they showed in here, they're talking about how, oh, we started these canines or whatever. So this is where the Palamutes originated from. Does that mean we're going to Kimura?
Stone Woods, just for one example.
Take heart. The fact that you've preserved as much as you have is something. Sights.
Let me just go over some more of this stuff here. I'm going to skip over a little bit.
To survive, our people need help now. If nothing else, the Sacrosanctum offers them the hope they need to live. I will not idly sit on the throne as our nation faces its death.
This has to stop!
Oh, Eleanor.
What? Don't do this!
So that was the kid's mother, the protagonist's mother. I mean, obviously this guy's Wyverian. He's like the coolest looking Wyverian I've seen so far, though. Look at the beard on this sucker. That's what I'm talking about. That's a proper beard.
Sky scale.
big ass Wyverian.
That woman with the Rathalos. I'm certain she was my mother.
It's a spin-off game, Marie. Maybe it's just a new tribe. I will always try to connect things to the mainline series. I don't care. You'll cover the Paris Games Week streams? I wasn't even aware there were going to be Paris Games Week streams. Okay, this is the one that I wanted to see. What monster is this? The fuck is this? This is a very strange looking Gravios. Well, I guess it's because he's got like the thing. He's got like this armor thing on him.
The future of Azuria rests on your shoulders, and you sat yourself down right in front of an assassin. Are you out of your mind?
I know this is a lot to take. Just
Bro,
try to
this is the
remember
coolest looking character in the game.
curiosity take you farther than a cage of caution.
I think that guy might become my favorite Monster Hunter character. He's got the potential for it.
Has the encroachment truly caused so much destruction over there?
Scores of villages have been consumed by crystal. The capital is flooded with refugees, with nowhere to rest their heads.
Check the deluxe edition. There's a story DLC. What? We're gonna look at that.
The dwindling of our K9
But it's on a Puke. I don't care.
the onset of feral beasts. All of it started when that monster came to this land.
It's so cool. Like look at how you can see. Now that you know what you're looking for, you can actually see his eye right there.
Feral beasts. All of it started when that monster
Yeah, and see, this was also...
The dw- our war.
Our village has long kept these canines as our wards. Doesn't necessarily mean
To our
Kimura.
very way of life.
It says that they've kept them.
Canine population. The onset of feral beasts. All of it started when that monster came to this land. No, it would be more fitting to call it a force of nature.
This is it.
Yamatsukami. Oh, I hadn't even noticed he's got a hat. Dude, he's even more perfect. He's got a hat, just like mine. Bro, he's perfect. He's the most perfect Monster Hunter character ever made.
The living mountain. Yamatsukami.
That's pretty badass. There's another video for us to watch, but before we do, I wanna go over some of these characters because I'm curious. Characters. Protagonist. The prince or princess of Azuria and the captain of the Rangers. They're highly skilled and the only Rathalos rider in the country. Protagonist has been focused on their ranger duties, protecting monster ecosystems and researching Equarts. When a shocking event changes everything, they come to realize they have little to no understanding of the events in the world and the hand humankind had in causing them. And in order to learn the truth, they set out across the northern meridian and into forbidden ground. Protagonist Monsti Ratha, Skyscale Rathalos. See, they're revealing so much. Skyscale Rathalos. And they revealed Yamatsukami. Please stop revealing things, Capcom. I can't believe I always need to have this discussion. I've said this to Ryozu and Yuya and Fujioka. I said, can you please show less? During Wilds, I was like, please show us less, please. You show too much. I really wish they'd show less things. Rudy, a royal feline whose family has served Azuria's royalty for generations. He served as a protagonist Palico since they were very young, and bears a deep devotion to the king and the Azurian royal family. Though he feels conflicted about disobeying the king and leaving Azuria, he eventually makes the decision to travel with the protagonist across the northern meridian and towards the Sacrosanctum. Eleanor, Ryder, and the Princess of Vermeil. As the situation in Vermeil worsens, relations with Azuria, as outlined by the nation's covenant, become increasingly strained. Eleanor offers herself as hostage to Azuria in an attempt to ease the tensions. She cares deeply for her own Monstie and is moved by witnessing the Rangers' activities. Wanting to understand her sister, the Queen's motivations, she accompanies the protagonist on their journey to the Northern Meridian. Eleanor's monster, Angie. I need to get the shock. I need to get my shock dog, bro. Somebody get me in touch with Hassan real quick. Dog barking. Can't have that. Simon, a young man who's pleasant and agreeable with everyone. He has no family to speak of and first met the protagonist while wandering the Azurian forest. Having grown up with the protagonist, he's their closest friend and confidant. The two of them enter the Rangers at the same time and have worked together ever since. Simon admires the protagonist's mother, Amara, who founded the organization. So she founded the Rangers and now she's working against them? Simon's Monstie, Fawn, Legiana. Oh, somebody actually didn't just name his Legiana Leggy? You know, like Wrath of the Rathalos? Angie the Anjanath? Why can't it just be Leggy the Legiana? Why it has to be Fawn? So weird. The only original character in the whole game. Thea, a brand new member of the Rangers, she loves Poogies and other creatures and is naturally attuned to the world around her. Her innate skill led to her being chosen for the Rangers, and she follows the protagonist, whom she greatly admires, expressing her devotion through her actions. She's always accompanied by her Poogie, Pookie. Thea's Monstie, Kagachi, Toby Kadachi. Ah, yes, Kagachi the Toby Kadachi. Kagachi. Oh, they also have specific descriptions of each of the Monsties. Rathalos were thought extinct in Azuria, but 10 years prior, the protagonist's mother found a crystallized egg in the forest from which Ratha was hatched as one pair of twin sky-scale Rathalos. The birth was considered an omen of disaster, the protagonist's Monstie. Belligerent, brutal wyvern. Yep. Wait, there's a distinction between Monsties and monsters? Interesting. We'll get to that. Gowl. Founding member and the vice captain of the Rangers, he and his loyal Palico support the group's activities in the background. Highly knowledgeable about botany, he's skilled at at creating combinations. His family has long been in service to Azuria. He's extremely loyal to the king, having gained the king's trust in turn. Ah, that's why the other one had to be called Fawn, because somebody had already taken Legia for a Legiana. Bro, come on. What do you mean? Legia the Legiana. It had to happen, of course. Murray, Gowl's Palico. He's a member of Gowl's elite intelligence corps and carries out investigations and communication duties under his orders. Stupid beard. Doesn't stay on proper. Ogden! The best character. He's the best. It's him. He's the one. He's going to be the thumbnail when I convert this part of the stream into a video. He's going to be the thumbnail. A true expert in monsters, having spent more than half his writer career studying them. His knowledge is so deep, he's regarded as a walking monsterpedia. He marches to the beat of his own drum, following curiosity wherever it takes him, even once traveling outside the boundaries of Azuria. Ogden's Monstie, Chirpy, the Puke Puke. Fucking based. Look at this guy. He's even got like a thing, I forget what the name of this instrument is. He can play the Ocarina of Time. He's a beast. They just made Ruri. They did! It's me! I'm in the video game! It's me, I'm in the video game, although I can't believe they didn't give me a Basel Goose. He's just like me, for real, for real. He's just like me, for real, guys. I can't believe they didn't give him a Basel Goose, though. Basel Goose should have been Ogden's Monstie 100%, and then he'd be perfect. He's already almost perfect, but he needed a Basel Goose. Hurry, not in time to cosplay this dude for Halloween. Yeah, well, we hadn't seen him before. Cora, a founding member of the Rangers along with Amara, an old hand with geological surveys. She's highly experienced in the use of bombs and gunpowder. She's never understood why Amara did what she did 10 years ago and joins the protagonist's journey in order to uncover the truth of why Amara left Azuria. People have been saying that this is my waifu because she has explosions. Who's her monstie? Gravy. Gravy the Gravios? What? Bro, Gravy the Gravios is the best. That's gotta be the best name. Gravy the Gravios. Oh my god, that's so good. But nah, bro, Maneo's still the waifu. Sorry. Cora's fine as hell, don't get me wrong. But Maneo is the waifu. It is what it is. It is what it is, man. It's that simple. You don't just cheat on Maneo, okay? Those of you that never played Rise or Sunbreak, well, actually Sunbreak specifically. Trying to find like a picture in good resolution of Maneo. Yeah, here we go. This is Maneo. Okay? This is Maneo. She's the waifu. Alright? Her. Waifu. Big waifu energy right there. And she crafts me my armor. It's perfect. It's a perfect relationship. Okay? Does Gravy have friends called Potato? Wait till Alma hears about this. Listen. Alma is the waifu of Wilds, but the ultimate waifu has always been Manale. She's the global waifu. Manale is the global waifu. It is what it is. I don't make the rules. Amara, the protagonist's mother and queen of Azuria. She founded the Rangers with the aim of protecting and preserving the natural environment. 10 years prior, in opposition to the execution of one of the two Rathalos twins dubbed to be cursed, she absconded with one of them, never to be seen again. In Azuria, she is known as the Turncoat Queen. The Turncoat Queen. And this is what she looks like when she's riding. Bro, not gonna lie. Y'all were talking about Cora? Nah, man. Turncoat Queen's the one. The problem is that she's not gonna be very loyal, considering that she's a Turncoat Queen. Yeah, bro. Arkan, the king of Azuria and the father of the protagonist. Despite faltering relations with their neighbor Vermeil, he maintains a steady stoic demeanor. Wanting to uphold the covenant his forebears made with the Wyverians, he is strictly against anyone crossing the northern meridian. He has high expectations for the protagonist's ability to protect the country as their sole Rathalos raider. Fierro, the loyal retainer of Vermeil's queen. He is instrumental in carrying out her will in the shadows. He directs espionage units in various areas, trying to strengthen Vermeil's power by any means necessary. He comes to Azuria with Eleanor in order to present the idea of crossing the meridian to Azuria's king, but is rejected. Bro sounds like a politician. Vandura. Ever since the Covenant was formed after the Civil War, he, a Wyverian, and his Magna Malo, Warden Fang, have guarded the gate at the Meridian. Seeing the protagonists in their sky-scale Rathalos, he is reminded of Amara from 10 years ago. Bro's got the biggest beard. What a Chad. Call and the Canine Ward, the leader of the Shepherdin, a village that reveres canines. Having lost their original home to the encroachment, they've now settled near the Meridian. As the numbers of their canine wards decreased, they were prepared to accept the end of their way of life as they know it. However, revered as a ward by the people of Shepherdin for its complete self-sacrificing devotion to its master, a blue-furred fanged beast that is both clever and highly athletic. Shepherdin's wards have bravely faced down the feral monsters threatening the village, but as the encroachment progresses, their population has dwindled, with only a single one remaining. Oh, there's only one Palamute? Damn. That's harsh. That poor Palamute. And he doesn't look very good for wear. He's already lost one eye, so his depth perception is going to be completely messed up. Anyway, then we have Monsties. Which I'm not going to read all of the Monsties. We know these monsters. She looks like a little bit of... Oh, she's not uncomfortable. It's just Poogie fell off. No! Poogie! Chirpia, Puke with a big appetite so friendly to humans that it boasts a coterie of fans who enjoy petting its down. About Puke, a venomous forest-dwelling bird wyvern. Well, we all know about Puke. Ogden's the best. Gravy the Gravios. Honed Glavenus. Ratha V. Skyscale Rathalos born 10 years ago from egg quartz discovered in Blightstone Woods. As twins were prophesied to bring disaster, it was sentenced to death, but it fled Azuria with Amara's help. With its body now covered in armor, it's clearly the monster of some unknown rider. It appears to stand in the way of the protagonists as they attempt to stop the fighting between the troops of Azuria and Vermeil. Monsters, Magna Malo, and Raidao. Why are they distinguished? We already know that you can ride a Raidao. It's just not anyone's monster. Anyone's monstie, I mean. Feral monsters, considered more dangerous than their regular counterparts. Oh, these are the ones that have been affected by the crystal encroachment. Feral Chatakabra. Yamatsukami, a colossal floating elder dragon, massive enough to have an ecosystem of flora living on it. It consumes the earth and swallows forests whole as it wanders in search of rich soil. Monster feared in Shepherdin as a force of nature rather than wandering about, this particular specimen has long resided in the Canalta Timberland. A portion of its body is crystallized. Damn. System. Out in the field, enjoy... Okay, so we already know how this works, most of it. Preemptive strikes, all of that. More pack, the 3 attack types. Yep, speed, power, technique. Head-to-head and double attacks. Synchro Rush, which is the beat 'em up mechanic. Breaking parts. Wyvern Soul Gauge. So we know about the 3 attack types, which basically is like you have to recognize the pattern of attacks to certain monsters so that you can kind of like counter them. Still about pattern recognitions. You and your opponent are targeting each other directly. You'll enter a head-to-head. Choosing the correct attack type and head-to-head enables you to deal significant damage, greatly filling the kinship gauge. What's a double attack, though? Breaking parts. Each monster has its own durability gauge. Bringing that gauge to 0 will break the corresponding part. They also have health gauges. No. Breaking parts can... I forget. Did they have health gauges in stories too? Okay. Wyvern Soul Gauge. The Wyvern Soul Gauge represents the monster's fighting spirit, and reducing the gauge to 0 will stagger it. Staggered monsters lose Wyvern Soul stock and enter a fatigued state, making their attacks easier to dodge. If the monster's Wyvern Soul stock is fully depleted, it will be toppled. And then the Synchro Rush, which is when you topple them, you can perform a Synchro Rush. Not only do you get to inflict massive damage, kinship gauge is also greatly filled, getting you closer to unleashing a kinship skill or other massive attack. There better be gun lances, is all I'm saying. Side stories are additional storylines centered around the protagonist and the fellow rangers. With side stories spotlighting each of the protagonist's friends, you can get to know them more deeply. In addition, by completing side stories, you can gain a variety of benefits for party gameplay, such as rewards useful for progressing the game, new weapons or monsties for the rangers, or the strengthening of their unique skills. That's cool. Character creation. I think they've already shown like a video of character creation, but I'm not overly concerned about that. I already know they can't have beards, which is the most important thing. Now, people are telling me to pay attention to the, oh, look at these amiibo. People are telling me to pay attention to the digital deluxe version. Deluxe edition. Additional side story Rudy. Side story about Rudy, whose family have served the shirt. It's kind of yucky. Locked behind Deluxe or a side story DLC, but with the ability to purchase it at time of launch. Same thing, but different way to look at it. Basically, it's $30 DLC expansion for one side story? Nah, bro, that's yucky. Like, I'm sorry, that's yucky. You know what this reminds me of? Mass Effect 3 with them locking the Protean character. Like, that's yucky. I'm sorry, bro. Like, I'm super excited. I'm gonna play the game and do all of that, but like, this is terrible practice. Straight up. What's the price? Because we don't have prices yet, do we? Wait. There's probably on Steam, right? So it's 70 bones for the base version, and then 90 bones for the deluxe edition. That's $20. $20 difference. You get special outfits. You get all these different things as well. Which is like, I'm fine with the special outfits. That's fine. You want to monetize that? Whatever. Don't care. That's where we're at with the industry. But like, monetizing a side story, it's a step too far. I don't like it at all. And then on this one, there's Deluxe Kit. Wait, additional? No, because the Deluxe Kit is a thing. Okay, special outfits, and then what? DLC pack. So it has more content. More cosmetic stuff. Don't really care that much. Rudy Zeno. Yeah, I think that the additional side story Rudy here is kind of like, eh. This shit should be in the game by default. Don't charge for stuff that's already there. Yeah, I agree. I think it's kind of lame that they're doing this. But you know what the worst part is? The worst part is, like, you know, the people who worked on the game, the team that worked on Stories 3, they're probably like, yes, we've made all this content. Let's let players enjoy it. And then some fucking suit, like some random fucking suit at the top just goes like, all right. So, let's chop this bitch up. We gotta chop something out. Chop something out, sell it back to you. It's like, no, dude, it ain't cool. It is just not cool. No. I don't agree with that. Yeah, it always ends up happening like that, too. There's always some higher up, some fucking suit, and it's just some bullshit. It is some bullshit. Additional side story Rudy is planned to release in autumn 2026. So this is going to be released later. Oh, so it's not made yet. So the story's not done yet. It's DLC that, but either way, I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like the fact that that's coming out. It just leaves a bad taste in your mouth. So, yeah. Higher ups or investors? I don't know. Either way, there's one more video. Let's check out the other video. This is the Twisted Reflection introduction video.
Azuria and Vermeil, two countries on a path to destruction. When all hope seems lost, an egg is found. Inside is a Rathalos, a species thought to be extinct. But this quavering light of hope is quickly extinguished, giving way to the darkness of despair. For the egg contains not one Rathalos, but two twins. Twin Rathalos bearing the sky scale mark, the symbol of disaster from the Civil War 2 centuries ago. The natural world teeters on the verge of destruction, with countless monster species facing extinction. In the shadow of these dark times, the flames of war rekindle. Two countries. Two Rathalos. A rider and their trusted Rathalos, buffeted by the winds of fate, set out on a journey for the truth. Riders form bonds with monsters, living with them in harmony. They call these partner monsters Monsties.
Question, Rurikhan. What if they had just said they plan to create a side story DLC for next fall 2026 and give no details? Just say the deluxe edition has the cosmetic stuff plus the DLC. It's still a story DLC. I don't like it. I don't like it because it's part of the game's story. It's like the way that Capcom has done Monster Hunter usually is you have base game, all the contents in the base game, then you have big expansion, loads of fucking content. You buy the expansion, Bob's your uncle, really good value, super happy. I don't like this piecemeal. Here's like a $10 DLC. Here's like a, I don't know. It's especially when it's one side story. How much are they going to charge for it? I don't know. It's weird. I think it's weird.
The protagonist of this story is the Prince or Princess of Azuria, a rider bonded with Araphalos. In addition, they're the captain of a group called the Rangers. The Rangers' duties include investigating the egg quartz appearing around the region, along with identifying and protecting endangered species in order to restore the environment's balance.
Time to piss you off then. The definition of a side story on the website says they include weapons, monsties, and powered up skills for the related character. Yeah, I know. I know. Which makes this even more egregious. So basically, if you want to get the best version of Rudy, you want to get that DLC.
The protagonist is joined by several other riders, members of the Rangers. There's Eleanor, the Princess of Vermeil, who's fascinated by the Rangers' activities.
Damn.
The protagonist's best friend, Simon, is also one of the Rangers.
Dude, these animations are so badass.
Thea, the newest Ranger, loves Poogies.
Like, Capcom, as far as I'm concerned, is undefeated when it comes to animations, dude. Like, I'm sorry. They just have the best people in the business. It's just that simple. You name one game that has, can hold a candle to most Capcom games in terms of animations. Good luck. Good luck with that.
Rudy, one of a long line of royal felines in service to Azuria, is the protagonist's loyal palico. The newest entry in the series, Monster Hunter Stories 3: Twisted Reflection, begins with the protagonist showing the ropes to Thea, the newest member of the Rangers. Then, spurred on by an incident, they begin to realize they know precious little about the current state of the world, nor humankind's hand in it. Their quest for the truth leads them to cross the northern meridian on a sojourn into forbidden ground.
Stories 3 is going to absolutely be awesome. I'm going to play the crap out of this game, but it just has that one little bitter taste in your mouth of the story DLC thing. That's the one thing that I'll say. But other than that, everything about this game looks absolutely phenomenal, and I can't wait for it. I don't like it as well, but I'm playing devil's advocate. If a paid DLC expansion can't focus on a character story or monsters, does that mean you're against all paid DLC expansions? It's not. It just feels wrong. Like, we can argue this till the cows come home. It's not going to not feel wrong. So that means you'd be against the game ever getting paid DLC, be it small or large. I already said I like the large expansions. I already said I like large expansions. Big, large expansions, like old school expansions, like, say, StarCraft, the StarCraft Brood War, that type of thing, or Monster Hunter, whatever version, to G rank, that type of thing, I think is really cool. I'm not a big fan of smaller expansions. Now, I can tolerate it in some games, but the way in which it's done here just feels wrong. Because Rudy is a main character. Rudy is potentially going to be one of the first characters you interact with. Like, let's put it like this. If they were adding a new character to the game with this expansion, so it wasn't about Rudy, it was about a new character, a new challenger, and that would come at a later date, I would be more accepting than if they do it to Rudy, which is literally the palico of the protagonist. Do you get what I'm saying? So it's like, I think another one of the things that has me being against this one is specifically the fact that it is the protagonist's palico. It just feels wrong. Like maybe they're like, oh, we're adding a new chapter to Monster Hunter Stories 3 in autumn. That would be something else. Like we're adding a new character, maybe a new zone, new weapons, all this thing. It's like a little mini expansion. I'm not against that. But it being around Rudy, it just feels wrong. And I don't see a world where it doesn't feel wrong. That's my thought on that. But other than that, like, I almost feel like we're ending on a downer, but I'm super excited for this game regardless of that. Like, I can even never play the Rudy story, and I already know that I'm going to love the crap out of this game, so. It is what it is. Stories 3 is going to be awesome. I'm going to play the fuck out of it, and cool beans. Bro, this beard is murdering me. You guys like my beard? Y'all having a good Halloween? Did y'all go trick-or-treating? Cosmetics shouldn't be a DLC. Well, okay, Sarif. What should be a DLC then? If only you could pick the characters you want to play in these. Is that a new Monster Hunter Stories? Yes. Monster Hunter Stories 3. That beard is too short for a dwarf. Yeah, I know. There's no official dwarves in Monster Hunter. Notice that his Puke covers him with the tongue, protecting him for the... Yeah, this was already a kinship attack in Stories 2, if I'm not mistaken. It did the same thing. We bend the rules, Chaos. If there isn't the bad guy, then I don't know who he is. Big expansion used to be selling the whole game again at full price. Yeah. Were you leaving us to go trick-or-treating now? No. We're way past the cosmetics shouldn't be a DLC. There's no coming back. Yeah. Went as Heisenberg to a Halloween party telling people to say my name. Date Cora. Shinkai posted something regarding the Paris panel for... By the way, are there going to be broadcasts or no? Let's see something. Look at the summer outfits. I mean, I usually don't pay too much attention because I don't tend to use a lot of that stuff. Summertime Ogden. Attendance attire. Wait, where's the summer? This isn't summer stuff. Summer. Is this one special outfits? Like, where am I supposed to see this, Gaijin? Premium Deluxe details for the DLC pack. Yeah, it's this. There's just this for the summer. Ogden is the only one that has a summer skin. Old man's half-baked puke on the outfit. It looks like Yuna drew that. It looks like something Yuna would draw. On Steam, they're calling it Monsty Hair. What? Master Roshi? And Master Roshi did kind of dress up like that, but... Considering his stature, I actually thought he would be a Wyverian, but he's a human. Thought it was going to be like one of those small Wyverians. I want to see Ruri cosplay as this. What, his summer outfit? I could grow out my beard to be that big. The wife probably wouldn't be happy about it. I can't grow out my hair to be that big, though. I'd need a wig. Basically a mini Caravaneer. Fun-sized Caravaneer. He's a fun-sized Caravaneer. Gosarag hair? What? Gosaraji. Jesus. That's big. That's like Super Saiyan 3 hair. That's what that looks like. Basically confirms as a Monstie. I mean, it might have hairstyles that are not going to show up as Monsties. I think that Malzeno is definitely going to show up. Because in one of the videos, there was like the eggs, and I looked at the patterns, and one of them definitely looked like it was going to be Malzeno's egg. So Malzeno, I'm like 90% sure is going to be in the game. These other ones, I don't know. They might just do the hairstyles without those monsters being there. Rurikhan so tempted to get the premium deluxe, but man, is $100 is it worth? My old ass monster player says yes, but my responsible ass says hold on. Listen. I'm not going to be responsible for your financial decisions. I'm going to play the game. I don't know which version Capcom will likely end up sending me one version of the game. As to whether or not it's worth it, I'll only be able to say after I play the game. But it's like, if Monster Hunter Stories 2 is anything to go by, so let's say same amount or more content than Stories 2, same or more quality than Stories 2, it's absolutely worth it, at least the base version. I would probably say it's worth it, the more expensive versions as well, because I had such a blast with Stories 2, but the opinion is going to change based on every player. So, yeah. Even $70 is too much. For the amount of entertainment that I got out of Stories 2, I wouldn't say 70 is too much. I'm not a big fan of 70 being somewhat the norm. But yeah, it is what it is. It's like, there's not a whole lot that we can do to go back at this point. I'm sure it's worth my wallet crying, though. Yeah. It's $300 here? Where? What the fuck? Buy this or Legends ZA for $70? That's not even a question. I have no idea how that's even a question. Game card? Oh no! Key card? Ugh. Brazil? Oh yeah, Brazil makes sense. O preço do Brasil, cara. Essa porra, hein? Essa porra. And this will sell 1/10 of ZA, which is sad. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. Okay. Shoutouts to the Longbeards. Gregory K, Sam Johnson, Hookeye, Venom Pure Evil, J-Hat, Saint Jonathan, Papa W, Pestos, Ricard Condinho, Sephirian, Golf of Fajeux, The Worst Wordmonger, Pascal Calais, Chris Marks, Bam Bam 0141, Victor, Mizzen Jamal, AR0474, Hidden Aussie, Quirin Das, Travis, The Bug Shaker, Fidel Varela, Astron R-Age, Angie, Dr. Eisenhower, Sefrath, Sangetsu, Star Kitsune, Mr. Wipeout, Eugenie, Inquisitor Reed, Jojo Mojo 1512, Eddie Eero, D. Luffy, Killer X316, Draxus K, El Renatos, J. Walco 4, Senior Bacon, Sam Castellan, Devin Widener, Sherlock Para, Figster, Cold Brick, Red Pigbank, Rambo the Nerd, Angry Scott's Dad 23, Robert 396, and Shelby Necco. Thank you very much for being gross and incandescent. As Longbeards, you Giga Chads, tip of the hat. Appreciate support. And thank you very much to all the Iron Breakers out there. Appreciate all of you. Everybody just watching the stream. Thank you. Thank you very much. Brewery rap time? No. We still have. We got to talk about Xbox. Xbox is coming up next. Wait, show me the US site for pre-order Switch. What?
If only I could be so gross.
Pre-order Switch. Doesn't say anything. Doesn't say anything about being key or not. D-Day Direwolf, thank you very much for becoming grossly incandescent. Tip of the hat. Appreciate support. Thank you. Hey, Yonko. Aloha. Your skit in the beginning of Khan's podcast was good. What was that? Oh, the one where I was fighting Omega. Check the standard edition. We are in the standard edition. Oh no, it's Premium Deluxe. It just, there's a link to the store. That's it. There's nothing. There's no details about it being a key card. Guess I'd have to go to the actual eShop or something? I don't know. Because it's just a digital version. I can't like buy the... can't buy the physical version here. Yeah, it just tells you the digital version. No details on game file size, nothing. So it's already confirmed that in Japan it's going to be a key card? That's crazy. So anyway, we need to talk about Xbox. Xbox is going through changes as well. Very much like YouTube, Xbox is also going through changes, and they're not all particularly good. Let's talk about this.
Like a changing business model, shifting your business model. it seems like the console wars are over. Take me through the journey.
You're a peacetime CEO now.
You're a peacetime CEO. The war's over. But take me through the evolution of the business model shift on the gaming side of the business. It's one of the most.
The funny thing is, console wars are over. Yeah, console wars are over. PlayStation kind of like is just winning. That's it. And Xbox is removing themselves from the race, and Nintendo is just doing their own thing. Yeah, the console wars are over. Long live the console wars. Because nothing really changes.
Interesting pieces of Microsoft.
Yeah, I mean, I think you've got to remember, in fact, Flight Simulator, I think, was the first product Microsoft built.
By the way, this has already been debunked by someone who was a founder of the Xbox division or whatever. She already stated, like, actually, this was subcontracted or whatever.
Even before, I think our DevTools was first.
Yeah.
Flight Simulator was second.
That says so much about the culture.
Yeah, it is.
It's just like as soon as you gave the developers the ability to write code, they were like, "Let's make a game." It's amazing.
And so, to me, remember, the biggest gaming business is the Windows business.
Yeah.
To us, gaming on Windows.
The biggest gaming business is the Windows business, completely just like shifting away from Xbox. Does he even mention Xbox even once? I think it just says console. I don't even think he says Xbox. It just says console.
Yeah.
And of course, Steam has built a massive marketplace on top of it and done a very successful job of it. So to us, the way we are thinking about
Steam, by the way, who is working on, improving their shit as much as they can to Linux because they're sick of Windows bullshit as well. Windows, by the way, which is a complete, and I'm no joke, I am using Windows, okay? But as a user, I'm well aware Windows is a bloated piece of garbage. And every time that it updates, it fucking breaks something. Every single time. I'm not even exaggerating. Every time there's a Windows update, it breaks one of my settings. And sometimes it's random. You don't know which setting is going to break. Sometimes it breaks my GPU a little bit and I have to go around and fix it. Sometimes it breaks my audio on my streaming rig. Sometimes it's just random. It's there's a little bit of RNG to Windows updates where sometimes it just breaks something random because why not?
First of all, now we're the largest publisher.
Yeah.
We're the largest publisher. Congratulations. Good job. You also are one of the companies responsible for the most amount of studio closures, for the most amount of video game cancellations, but you are the largest publisher, so good job.
After the Activision. So therefore, we want to be a fantastic publisher. Similar approach to what we did with Office.
Yeah.
We're going to be everywhere.
This is so disgusting, dude. This has to be one of the most disgusting things I've heard. When you're talking about video games, you're like, we're going to apply the same strategy that we did to Office. What? You realize we're talking about video games. His thing is everywhere in every platform. Yeah, the way that you guys kind of like leveraged Microsoft Office is that you made a pretty good piece of software and then you made the format of the files proprietary and all that bullshit, which made it very hard for other people to kind of like work with those file formats. Is that what we're talking about? It's so weird, dude.
In every platform. So we want to make sure whether it's consoles, whether it's the PC, whether it's mobile, whether it's cloud gaming, we want to, or the TV.
And this is why it doesn't work. Because here's the thing. I don't even like gaming on this thing. I don't like it. You guys know it. I don't like gaming on phones. It's not my thing. But a gaming experience for your phone needs to be different for a gaming experience for your PC, which that one can be similar to a gaming experience for a console, whatever. But basically, people that are playing games on their phone, they're not playing games on the PC. I mean, they might, but they're looking for different experiences depending on the device. And it's like this whole idea of every device is an Xbox. It's like, yeah. Are people on their phone really looking to play Halo? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm a big boomer, but yeah, it's weird. It's super weird, dude.
So we just want to make sure the games are being enjoyed by gamers everywhere.
Yeah.
Second, we also want to do innovative work in the system side.
Innovative work in the system side.
And on the PC.
Your innovative work has been to just like, we need you to make something that is marketable to the largest possible market and that will sell to the largest amount of people.
And
That's
really,
it.
You know, it's kind of funny that, you know, people think about the console PC as two different things. We built the console because we wanted to build a better PC, which could then perform for gaming. And so I kind of want to revisit some of that conventional wisdom. But at the end of the day, console has...
This is just so weird. It's like such a word salad. This means nothing. The last thing that he says just means fuck all.
An experience that is unparalleled. It delivers performance that's unparalleled. That pushes, I think, the system forward. So I'm very looking forward to the next console, the next PC gaming, but most importantly, the game business model has to be where we have to invent maybe some new interactive media as well. Because after all, the gaming's...
Inventing new interactive media. Okay.
Competition is not other gaming.
Gaming competition is not other gaming.
Short form video.
Gaming's competition is short form video. So you're going to make games to compete with TikTok. You're going to make games to go compete with TikTok. So you're talking about like short burst experience that deliver like as much dopamine as it possibly can within the shortest amount of time. You're talking about seconds of gameplay if you want to be competing with TikTok videos. How about, I know this is a revolutionary concept, okay? I know that this is a revolutionary concept, especially for the people over there at Microsoft, but how about you focus on letting people just make good games rather than try forcing them to make games that make the most amount of money? Because obviously, this doesn't tell the whole story. This video doesn't tell the whole story.
If we as an industry don't continue to innovate, both how we produce, what we produce, how we think about distribution.
It's like, let's just put it like this. The consumption of short form video and the consumption of a video game, these are two very different target demographics. These are two like the type of person that wants to sit down, play a JRPG, or the type of person that wants to sit down, play a battle royale is likely not the same person that is sitting down and vegging out on TikTok. I don't know. I don't know, man. This is just like a big word salad, right? Means fuck all.
The best way to innovate is to have good margins.
The best way to innovate is to have good margins. The best way to innovate is to make a fuckload of money. I would actually say that that is not the best way to innovate. Like, that's the best way to make money. Having good margins is the best way to make money, but it's not the best way to innovate. As a matter of fact, having good margins is actually one of the worst ways to innovate, because the more pressure you put on your developers to make money, essentially what is going to happen is it's going to cause them to try and mass market their video game. Give me a second. what was it? Did someone dare to exist outside and perhaps walk past? Yeah, that's usually how it goes. But yeah, and his idea, the best way to innovate is to have good margins. But like I said, you know, just kind of like if the only incentive that you want your developers to have is to make good money, you're going to get products that are not designed for their artistry, that are not designed to, you know, because somebody actually wants to do something. And we've seen a bunch of games come out like this. This is not just Xbox doing this. There's a ton of companies that are basically just trying to put out something that appeals to as many people as possible to make as much money as possible. And this doesn't necessarily make good games. What makes good games is honing in on something very specific that the people that will enjoy that thing will really enjoy it. And then you get a lot of it through like word of mouth and all of that stuff. And these are the games that are going to be successful. And also budgeting in a responsible manner. Expedition 33, Baldur's Gate 3, Elden Ring, and then there's a ton more that we could talk about, like Silksong, all of this stuff. These are games that were made by people who are passionate about them, and these are games that people are going to remember for decades. This game is going to make so much friggin' money, and they're going to keep making money because people are going to keep buying them over the years, and whenever they go on sale, they make more money. And this is how you actually make money and at the same time improve and innovate on the artistry of creating video games. But no. The way, like, look at this fucking sentence, bro. Like, actually look at this.
Model, right? Best way to innovate is to have good margins.
Best way to innovate is to have good margins. Best way to innovate is to make money.
Yeah. Because that's the way you can fund.
So interesting saying gaming's competition is short form video. It feels like the entire world's competition is short form video.
Restream. One live stream.
Yeah, restream. Whatever. But there's that. But then we have more. Now, this is a video from Bellular. I'm going to link it. This is also very related to this Xbox shenanigans that are going on. I'm going to link it to you guys. Make sure to check it out, give it some watch time, and hit the like button and all of that good stuff. And he's going to give us the breakdown of what's going on with Xbox besides this short-term video shenanigans.
Profit margin. Lock that into your brain. 30% profit margin. Lock that into your brain because it's what we're talking about today, because it's the number that is destroying Xbox right now. And that's because Microsoft demands that Xbox hits this target every single year.
Microsoft Corp is asking its Xbox gaming division to produce 30% accountability margins, which is a term that Microsoft uses in lieu of profit margins. According to people familiar with the business, court documents from 2023 reveal that Xbox had a 12% profit margin for 3 quarters of the company's 2022 fiscal year. 30% profit margin. Actually, think about that. A 30% profit margin is absolutely insane in this economy. This is absolutely crazy. I need to get the shock collar. It's happening. It's coming out. So it's like 30% is just something that you are really, really going to struggle to achieve. Not only that, but you're going to basically pressure every one of your developers, and there's going to be very little room for actual creativity because the only thing that they can focus on is, how do I make more money? I need to make more money, otherwise I'm going to lose my job. But yeah,
But here is the thing, the games industry is not the enterprise software as a service industry, and that basically means that Phil, Sarah, and the squad are dragging a humongous anchor. One that their competitors don't have to, and if they struggle, they know it's going to be bad. Today's story exists because we finally know why Xbox has been burning everything to the ground. And to understand that, here's what the old Xbox was like according to Bloomberg. Game makers weren't asked to hit specific numerical targets. They were told to focus on making the best games possible without worrying too much about finances. So that Xbox, the Xbox that wanted to compete for its space in this industry, it is dead. The new Xbox, well, it is a profit machine that will destroy just about everything to hit its 30% target. That could be your favorite studio, it could be that game you're waiting for, it could be the entire concept of exclusive games.
I remember when they killed Scalebound. Y'all remember? Yeah. No, but that's different. That's just like, that one's just like still stuck here, you know what I'm saying?
All of these sacrificed for one impossible goal set 2 years ago by their owners at Microsoft. Now, while all that's going on, I'm learning a
and the thing to remember is the reason why this goal was placed upon them, which I believe Bellular will touch up on.
Touch of Dutch, because I play WoW with Dutch people. I love the place, love my time there, especially in Efteling. And today's sponsor, Babbel, is how I am learning. It's an award-winning app that makes learning a new language simple and effective. So with Babbel, you can learn Dutch, German, French, and way more. And their courses are created by over 200 language experts. So it's basically like having a private tutor in your pocket on the app. And my favorite part is you can practice conversations with an amazingly well-implemented AI partner. And that means you can basically...
There you go. Bro, my kid just came in here telling me I fell with my ass on top of a Nerf gun and it hurts. I'm like, do you realize I'm live right now? You're telling this to the whole internet, son. That you fell with your ass on top of one of your Nerf guns and that now it hurts. Why don't you go tell that to your mother?
Just have a big old chat and build up your experience. Really cool. It's dynamic. Now, Babbel has got over 25 million subscriptions sold. They've got 92% of users saying they're improving their proficiency level in just 2 months. And after using Babbel, after I've ordered a coffee, I can say, thank you, Vel, without looking like I'm a bit silly. So, to start speaking a new language in as quick as 3 weeks, go to babbel.com/bellular and you will get up to 55% off your subscription. So that's 55% off when you use my link. You can join the millions of Babbel learners who are breaking down those language barriers, and that's at babbel.com/bellular. To get a bit of tone on this, I need to go back to something from 2021. You see, then, Satya Nadella, CEO of Microsoft, allegedly considered closing down Xbox, just stopping, getting out of games.
In 2021, Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella faced the choice involving the company's Xbox and cloud gaming business. The company could either acquire major game studios to drive more subscriptions to its nascent Game Pass subscription service, or it could wind down its game business entirely, Nadella told 2 people at the time. Holy crap. I guess we're going for option number 2 now.
For what it's worth, Microsoft does deny this, but we do know something important, that even in 2020, Nadella was working out ways to increase Xbox's value to Microsoft. Now, this wasn't happening in a vacuum, and sometimes opportunities just happen to land in your lap, such as, well, Activision. And Bobby Kotick tells the story here. In 2020, Bobby reached out to his good mate Satya to help to buy TikTok. But rather than buy the brain rot machine, Nadella pulled Uno reverse and said, how about we buy you instead? And of course, 2 years later, Kotick was ready to sell, and they sorted out a deal within 3 days that was worth $75.4 billion. And as 2023 closed, the real chaos started. People expected some staff reductions at ABK from the merger. What they got was 1,900 people fired in one round, which was 8% of the new Xbox, and as we go on to find out, it was
Blizzard president Mikey Barr has also decided to leave, and Blizzard's survival game has been cancelled. I mean, I don't think Mike Ibarra decided to leave. He said he decided to leave. Bro got fired. Because he had already said that they're going to have to drag me out. Didn't take very long. It was like a couple of months before he got fired.
Go on to find out, it was just the beginning of the roller coaster. The last 2 years have been goddamn brutal. Thousands of staff are gone, studios like The Initiative and Tango Gameworks have been shuttered or sold, projects cancelled left and right, and all of that is before the price hikes. The consoles cost more, Games Pass costs way more, everything costs more, even though throughout all of this, Phil Spencer and his team kept saying the same thing. Quote, "We have more players, games, and gaming hours than ever before."
So basically, they were making the most amount of money possible. They have, like, as Phil Spencer was saying, they had more and more gamers, more and more players, more and more of everything. But at the same time, they also had more and more of, destroying people's jobs, destroying studios, canceling games. So it's like, if your purpose is to make as much money as possible, and you have record amounts of money that you are making, and you still have to fire people left, right, and center, your business is not sustainable. It's just
our
that
platform,
simple.
hardware, and game roadmap have never looked stronger. And that really didn't make sense to us, given everything else that we saw. I mean, how could Xbox be at its best ever while having to make humongous cuts to its staffing? Well, now we've got the answer. It comes from one decision that was made in 2023, and it comes from a new character to this story. Full credit to Bloomberg for getting the scoop on this. And here's the story. Since autumn 2023, Microsoft Chief Financial Officer Amy Hood had set a target for Xbox, and that was that they must maintain a 30%, quote, accountability margin. Yes, an accountability margin. So, if you don't hit that, you're in deep trouble. And what that basically means is that it's Microsoft's term for profit margin on individual segments within the business. And here's the simple version. Whatever revenue Xbox makes from consoles, games, and subscriptions, the cost of doing that has got to be 30% less than what they bring in. And look, that is how big companies work. If you're not making profit, you're an Ubisoft. And then investors do start getting a little bit itchy, thinking about, should we do a
That's... If you're not making profit, you're Ubisoft.
I'll take over. Should we, do some private equity and gut you like a fish? Of course, even in gaming, you do actually need enough profit that one bad game won't literally kill your whole company, or that one failed deal won't do similar. Looking at you, Embracer Group. But here's the problem. A 30% margin on first-party game services is very much where eyebrows go up. And to get a handle on that, I want you to take a guess. What do you think Nintendo's profit margin is? What do you think PlayStation's profit margin is? Have a number in your head, and I'll tell you in a moment.
PlayStation's profit margin is probably, right now, 6 to 7%, I would say. Nintendo's probably 15 to 20, I would imagine. 6 to 7 for PlayStation, 15 to 20 for Nintendo.
But first, we need to talk about what this target has done to Xbox, because it does explain everything. Every quarter, Xbox leadership looks at their results, and if they don't see a 30% profit margin, they have a simple equation to balance. Cut things to get the margin. In Microsoft's eyes, Xbox is a group that is spending...
This is why they're increasing the prices of everything. It's like, well, we sure as hell didn't get that margin from, making games. So now we got to make games more expensive, got to make consoles more expensive, got to make accessories more expensive, got to make everything more expensive. Hell, even the dev kits are more expensive.
More than they are making, and that needs to change. That means less spending on staff. That means cancel support for third-party studios, like, say, the Romeros, who just got utterly fucked. Right? Awful stuff. This is them literally being forced to break contracts with studios that have hired and paid for staff based on those active contracts. Crazy stuff. There have been cancelled projects that Xbox leadership loved, like ZeniMax's Project Blackbird. And the reason why is that they won't generate profits in the short term. Now, you might be able to understand that if you just try to juice your margin in the short term, it probably means you're underinvesting in your future. And that can mean you get outcompeted over time. And this is actually one of the reasons why competition is a good thing, because competition actually exists to decrease profit margins by
the thing about the whole short-term thing, I feel like a majority of this industry has operated on short-term gains for so long, and now it's just completely they're breaking under their own weight, because that's just the way that it goes. Most of these companies are like, okay, we need short-term gains every single time, short-term gains, short-term gains. They rarely ever consider the long-term effect of the actions that they're doing to get the profits now, until the point where they lose all customer loyalty, all customer goodwill, and then we're just like, no, you're just a fucking scam artist. The way that most people look at EA and Ubisoft nowadays. We just look at them and we're like, y'all are scammers. That's what you are, because you've just completely run everybody's goodwill into the ground.
By forcing companies to spend more money fighting for their consumers, and that's why we, the consumers, are supposed to win. I mean, hell, the games industry is one built off loss leaders. Loss leaders are obviously something they can't have anymore. As an example, dev kits for AAA companies are not sold at a loss. They just increase the price humongously. For reporting houses, it's the same deal. Now, the good news is that indies can still get free dev kits from their ID at Xbox program, but those big corporate spends of trying to help their partners develop good shit for their platform, yeah, well, those are now a lot more expensive for the developers and publishers. Basically, Xbox's spending has got to change every year so that it stays within that tight 30% margin target. And it's all because of this mandate set by Amy Hood 2 years ago. And for this, the timing and the context matters.
Here it comes! Here it comes!
Because everything changed around the time of the big acquisition. The date is the most important thing here, and it is fall 2023. That is right when the Activision Blizzard acquisition closed. And we've talked about this idea.
So basically what happened was Phil Spencer and Sarah Bond and all of that were like, okay, so we want to buy Activision Blizzard. That's going to increase our profits significantly. It's going to be great. And then the higher ups, like Satya, who was it? Amy Hood, turns around and says like, all right, you can buy them for $70 billion or whatever, but your profit margin is now 30%. That's pretty much the way that it went. Your profit margin is now 30%. And they were like, all right, not a problem, because we're going to make all that money off of Activision Blizzard, which is so interesting to me, because anyone that has been following Activision Blizzard knows that most of their money is coming from, like, I don't know, Call of Duty shenanigans, and even that is like highly volatile, because you'll have a Call of Duty that does gangbusters followed by a Call of Duty that is complete dog shit because people don't even know what the fuck they're doing with that video game anymore. And it's just a big mess. It is super volatile. And that's like, I think, probably their biggest IP, because like World of Warcraft is small potatoes compared to Call of Duty, okay? Diablo, we don't even talk about Diablo. That's not even a blip in the radar. StarCraft, same thing. StarCraft's popularity days are long gone. So it's like, you know, it's just that the Activision, it's Call of Duty. It's Call of Duty Mobile. And obviously King, fucking Candy Crush, the soccer moms that keep buying extra lives in Candy Crush. That's what's going on.
Year before, that the spending on the deal got Microsoft to actually pay attention to Xbox. Now, in some ways, that was good stuff. They now get Call of Duty money, but, you know, 75 billion deal value. That's quite a lot.
And the other problem was they put Call of Duty on Game Pass. They decided we're going to put Call of Duty on Game Pass. And the Game Pass subscriptions did not, in fact, offset the purchases of Call of Duty, which people were buying that game at $70 a pop.
Billions. But that's not the only thing that happened, because from 2023, Microsoft got really excited about AI, and that meant they started regretting something. They kind of wished that that Activision Blizzard King money was going into funding more data centers. And the Bloomberg report does reinforce this, because before that date, teams did not worry about hitting arbitrary.
In the past, game makers at Xbox weren't asked to hit specific numerical targets set to people, and were largely told to focus on making the best games possible. Not worrying too much about finances. Yeah.
Performance targets. The notion of investing a lot of money now in something that would get more money later was
WoW still does a lot of money. When one raid is released, a lot of people pump a lot of money to buy tokens. Last time I checked, Guild was fighting for number 1, wasted 50,000 on tokens on the first day. I don't think you understand the scale. Yes, WoW still makes a lot of money, but scale-wise, compared to Call of Duty, I wish it was. I wish it did. Because at the end of the day, I still think World of Warcraft, even in this debilitated state, this crippled, mangled mess that this game is nowadays, I still think it's like leagues better than Call of Duty. But unfortunately, that's just not the reality of it.
A healthy enough thing at the company. But then there was a corporate shift in how the business was ran and how it produced games. And here's a curious thing. It comes from Ethan Gatch writing for Kotaku, and he noticed a parallel. That Activision's operating margin was 32% the quarter before the deal closed. Did Microsoft just look at that and think, oh, if Activision can do it, we can as well? Which of course would be an insane thing, because Activision was, in many ways, Bobby's finely oiled Call of Duty machine.
So this is a mistake, like, as somebody who's lived through, I've lived through the acquisition of a company that I was working for, and this is hilarious to me. So basically, for those of you that didn't get exactly what Bellar was just talking about, the operating margin of Activision Blizzard was 32%. That means that there's like 32% of profits or whatever with Call of Duty and all of their business. And therefore, Xbox just assumed, oh, we'll buy them, we'll keep them running the way that they're running, and we'll instantly get those 30%. Like, as a matter of fact, there's even 2% leeway. This is perfect. This worked great. But the problem is, whenever you purchase a company, you don't have all of the knowledge that you need to have in order to operate this company at peak efficiency. And like I said, I myself have been through this. I was working for this company, and they were like a leading exposition company here in Portugal. Okay? They were like the leaders in their field, super well known. Everybody knew that their shit was the bomb. It was quality. It was great, right? They got purchased by another company. And the other company, the second that they purchased this company, they just instantly tried to change the culture. It didn't last 2 years. I just want you to understand, it didn't last 2 years. This was a leader in their field. It didn't last 2 years after it was purchased.
So of course it was designed to be pretty damn profitable. It's a little bit different from being a first-party player in the industry. Though I need to note that there's a lot of looseness in how margins even get calculated, and that's because operating margin doesn't always include non-product spending. That means things like tax. But take a look at some of these numbers. In 2022, Activision's net income versus total revenue was 20%. In 2021, it was 31%. And it fluctuated between 20 and 30% in prior years. You can almost connect the dots where Microsoft looks at their new acquisition with an incredibly high profit margin, and then they look at their existing game division and think, we expect more. And in some ways, yeah, sure, look how they screwed Halo and have screwed so many things since the Xbox One era. But look, you can say a lot about Bobby Kotick's Activision Blizzard. You really can, and I have. But above all else, I think we can all agree it was a finely tuned money-making machine. It wasn't a finely tuned game-making machine because, let's be real, they made fewer and fewer different franchises as time went on. They essentially optimized everything into the things that they were running that did appear to be working well. And coming off the COVID boom especially, they basically found themselves with live service games that were massive money spinners. But they also had not been investing much in new games for the long-term future, because that's not what they, as a third party, were optimized for. But the thing is, you cannot apply their logic to a first party like Xbox, because even Nintendo and PlayStation do not work that way. Remember the profit margin numbers I asked you to guess? Well, here are the answers. Nintendo's net profit margin last year was 23.9%.
Whoa! 23! That was a little bit higher than I expected, but I said 15 to 20, so 23 is close enough.
The year before, it was 29.3%. Pretty awesome.
Holy
well, that's because
crap.
Nintendo are laser focused like Activision, and even with that, they cannot consistently hit 30%. As for PlayStation, they had 8.8%.
I said between 6 and 7. I was not that far off. 6 and 7, not that far off.
And then 6.7% respectively.
What? 6.7?
This is pretty rough. Now, these guys are Xbox's closest competitors. They are mass-market console producers representing opposite ends of the spectrum. And Bloomberg notes that the industry average ranges from 17 to 22%, and that Xbox was resting between 10 and 20%. So it's not unreasonable for Microsoft to ask Xbox to increase margins, especially since the division hasn't really worked that well since the Xbox 360 era. But there's a problem with that, and that problem is the size of the increase they were asking for and the timing. Mandating Xbox to hit 30% within a few years is healthy and reasonable. That is them growing the business. But just demanding 30% now, regardless of what you're going to lose in hitting that, well, that creates chaos. Chaos that we have all seen. It creates an Xbox that cannot do long-term planning. I mean, at what stage do we just look at Phil Spencer and think, wow, that guy's a liar? Now, from everything I understand, he's one of the last, like him and Sarah Bond, are some of the last forces just holding the worst shit at bay. But you can imagine from their perspective, every plan that they make seemingly gets destroyed by these insane targets that have been given to them.
Yeah.
Just take exclusive games as an example. Halo Campaign Evolved and Forza Horizon 6 were announced to launch on the PS5. And the reason why is simple. Xbox had a long-term plan. That plan was to make Game Pass great value using a credit system so the developer sales were not a factor even with them having waning console sales. But now they need the 30% target. And with that, games need to be more profitable, and they need to be more profitable faster. And that means launching on the biggest console where any amount of sales will...
And let's not forget, Game Pass doesn't appear to be profitable.
...help move that needle. But, of course, what it also will do is completely cede their ground on the hardware space. Because right now, to buy an Xbox is foolish. Just buy a PlayStation. It's a better console with a better games library, and a games library that's going to include all the Microsoft stuff. So why even bother with Xbox? And what that does is it tanks their hardware sales. It makes Xbox, as the platform that most consumers understand it, look completely directionless. Like they've got no clear plan to actually compete in the game space. They have a plan to make money off games, but not a plan to compete in the way that we would want them to. In the way that would, force PlayStation to be better. And here's the thing. They're not just competing in the game space. They're competing inside Microsoft. Okay, so remember when I flagged Satya Nadella at the start of this video? Well, this year, our boy Satya is getting a pay rise of 22% up to 96.5 million in total comp.
I swear these motherfuckers are just like competing for a high score. They have like a scoreboard with their bank accounts, and they're just competing for a high score, dude. That's what they're doing. They're just competing. It's like, bro, look at my score, dude. Fuck yeah, dude. I just made 96 million bones. God damn, bro. Meanwhile, I'm over here fighting the clankers in the platform to see if I can get a spot in the homepage every now and then to get a video that might actually break 1,000 fucking views. What am I doing? I should be the CEO of Microsoft. That's what I should do.
Well done, Satya. Now, GameFile spotted something goddamn interesting. That Xbox just met their revenue growth target for the first time since 2021, where they achieved 15% content and services revenue growth against a 14% goal. Happy days, and that sure made the CEO get his lovely stock-based payout. Every other year, other divisions made their goals and kept Nadella happy, but Xbox did not. Now, in theory, this would mean that he would have personal incentive to improve Xbox because if all the divisions are doing better, then, well, the board board can better justify increases in his compensation. Now, in reality, it's all part of the same system. It's all part of Microsoft. And it's a system that we suggested means that Microsoft doesn't really care about Xbox that much. And the reason is that they don't care about Xbox as a division that makes games as a part of the games industry. They care about Xbox as a division that makes profits within Microsoft. Those are two completely different missions for Xbox. And for us on the outside,
it's like you can either make games and your objective is to make great games, or your objective is to make a fuckload of money, and these two things are in direct competition now. Making a really good game doesn't necessarily mean making the most amount of money. It means making an adequate amount of money, but no investor wants to get involved in a company that is making an adequate amount of money. They want to get involved in the company that is making all of the money. And every single one of those games is always a big old gamble. It's just gambling. That's what we're doing.
it means they have fundamentally changed. It means that they are now a junior competitor against the likes of PlayStation. And it means that we can no longer expect them to take as big swings, to try to define the future of the industry, to change its direction, to drive new types of hardware, new experiences, to do interesting shit that furthers games as a medium. That won't happen. Because what they need to do is generate profit for their overall entity. An entity that really doesn't give a shit about games. And on the topic, do you know what's an existential threat to a company? Cocking up your GTA killing game so much that just shy of 100 staff have done a big open letter against you. It is quite the story, bit of a hilarious shit show, pretty bad for the people involved, and you can learn all about it in this video next.
Okay, team, make sure to check out Bailey Lar. He makes fantastic coverage in the industry. Give it a like, subscribe if you like his videos, the usual shenanigans. But yeah, this is where we're at with Xbox. Just making games for profit does not necessarily mean making good games. It means like do anything you have to do in order to increase that profit margin to 30%. That includes shutting studios down. That includes canceling projects. That includes doing all of that stuff. And one of the main reasons why that has been imposed upon them is because of their purchase of Activision Blizzard. And the interesting thing was when the Activision Blizzard merger was announced, as someone who used to be a big fan of Blizzard, well, you know, a long time ago, I was like, oh man, maybe this can actually improve things because it can't get any worse. And one of the things that I've learned in my life is you should never say the words, it can't get any worse. Just trust me. It always can. It always can get worse. Things can always get worse, okay? As a matter of fact, it is likely that they're going to get worse. That is usually something that is more likely to happen than for things to get better. It is more likely for them to get worse than it is for them to get better. It's crazy, bro. It's crazy. And that's where we're at with Xbox shenanigans. Absolutely insane. But, ladies and gentlemen, that is not all when it comes to good news. There are more good news. This part really sucks. I really hate this. I think it's really fucking bad. Especially as I even mentioned recently that like I've been going through MMORPG withdrawal. It's like I feel like playing MMO. I kind of think that the safest one for me to play right now is Guild Wars 2. I probably shouldn't say that. We're going to hear next week that like Guild Wars 2 is shutting down. But it's like nobody is investing in MMORPGs. Like we have the situation with the MMORPG that Greg Street was working on. That one's in limbo right now. We had the situation with Wayfinder, which was going to be an MMORPG. Had to be converted down into a single-player game with optional co-op because there was no support from the Digital Extremes because they just cut them off out of nowhere. And now we are listening to Amazon Games ending support for New World. This is an MMO that we covered here in the channel when it came out, and I haven't really kept up with it all that much. But, you know, I did play it a bunch back in the day. I thought it was a really fun game. I had a blast playing that game. But yeah, Amazon Game ends support for MMO New World after following mass layoffs. The never-ending carousel of game industry layoffs continues once again as Amazon announced it's cutting more than 14,000 jobs across the entire company, with specific reductions happening at Amazon Games and its in-house MMO, New World. As part of a general shift in strategy, the company seems to be pivoting entirely away from its heavy focus on live service MMO games over the last several years towards a more casual, family-focused angle led by its revamped Amazon Luna cloud platform, in addition to focusing more on AI technologies. Naturally, this doesn't bode well for New World Aeternum, the latest version of its homegrown MMO IP that hit consoles and relaunched on PC just a year ago. Remains to be seen what will happen with the in-development Lord of the Rings MMO, which I believe has been cancelled, and the future holds for Amazon-published titles such as Lost Ark and the English version of Throne of Liberty. All these games are just going to lose support. I mean, Lost Ark isn't really developed by them, is my understanding. But yeah, it's like, boom, they're going to be focusing more on casual, family-focused angle, which is just so sad to see, bro. It's just absolutely sad to see. In the future, every company will just be AI-focused company. Yeah, that's where we're moving, dude. Apparently, Amazon was competing with Steam for the past 15 years as well. Competing is indeed, like Ark is saying, is a very strong word. And then even Greg Street talked about this, which we mentioned him before, as New World dies thanks to Amazon, and ex-World of Warcraft lead thanks to devs who made it for trying to keep the MMO dream alive as he struggles with his own new MMORPG. After a little over 4 years of updates, Amazon is throwing in the towel on New World. The recently launched Season 10 of the ambitious fantasy MMO will be its last, and among those providing commiserations, the former World of Warcraft dev who's very aware of the current struggles. Greg Street, who served as lead system designer on World of Warcraft for several years, posted a simple tribute on Twitter to the team behind New World. "I'm sorry, my friends, for my friends at Amazon who were trying to keep the MMO dream alive," he stated. A longtime designer who's been in the industry for over 20 years, Street is currently attempting to put out an MMORPG himself through Fantastic Pixel Castle, for which he serves as studio head and game director. Starting in 2023, the outfit has been working on a fantasy multiplayer game for some time, though earlier this month, Street revealed that they were having trouble finding a publisher after a deal with NetEase fell through. NetEase being the skin job company that they are. When asked about the climate of AAA development, where we've seen numerous layoffs and canceled projects over the last couple of years, Street mentions it's possible with the right management. "I think it's sustainable with realistic budgets and timeframes, but indies are having a great moment right now," he says. Amazon cited sustainability issues and the decision to pause rollout of additional features for New World, and the decision comes amid layoffs affecting 14,000 employees across its video game operations. Getting an MMORPG off the ground and keeping it alive are two distinct struggles, and in a world where there are already so many live service games vying for people time, carving out space for New World can't have been easy. The game will remain playable through 2026 per official messaging, and a minimum of 6 months' notice is promised before anything happens that impacts access. It's crazy. It's crazy times, bros. Crazy times. Video games are going through some tough times. And it's so weird because you see so many good games coming out. So many really cool projects. But you just see this constant divesting from the industry. Like, people don't just need sustainable cash flow. They need all the cash flow, regardless of how unsustainable it is. They need short-term games. As many short-term games as they possibly can. It's really, really bad. I'm currently back to playing Avatar FOP just until Winds Meet, Where Winds Meet comes out. Can Rail to the Fire and Ash DLC comes out. First person New Game Plus. What? I don't even know what. Oh, Avatar, the Ubisoft game? Playing Monster Hunter 1 I think eventually indie devs and remakes are going to see the most amount of business in the industry. I don't know. We'll all just start playing Kill Team with Ruri. That's the way, man. The future of the gaming industry is in the tabletop. Rurikhan, I've got a great idea for a new MMO. It starts with Monster and ends with Frontier Remaster. I don't know, man. I just missed the old days of World of Warcraft. Those ain't never coming back. Man, Wrath of the Lich King, you had to be there, man. You had to be there during Wrath of the Lich King, dude. I'm gonna be playing Where Winds Meet when it comes out. Wilds and Red Dead Redemption 2 until the time comes. Where Winds Meet? When's that coming out? Isn't that a gacha? November 14th. You miss nostalgia, not the endless hours waiting for people to raid. You didn't have to wait endless hours. You scheduled it. Oh, there's videos out for people that got to do like previews. We have the Eric's board here.
It's Paradise, and it's rare for a game to catch.
We have Paradise here. Let's check it out. Since so many of you guys have been talking about this game.
Catch us off guard. Hey guys, it's Paradise, and it's rare for a game to catch us off guard, but after spending over 40 hours with Where Winds Meet, we can confidently say it's not what we expected. Over the past few weeks, we've had early access to the beta, diving deep into its single-player campaign, testing out the martial arts combat system, and even exploring the lesser-known online modes. So in this video, we're going to break down our hands-on experience with Where Winds Meet, going through what works and what doesn't. Firstly, for those that haven't seen it before, Where Winds Meet is an open-world action RPG set in a reimagined version of China's late Ten Kingdoms period. The story lets you play as a mysterious...
I'm already turned off because there's not going to be any dwarfs, because there's no dwarfs in Chinese games ever. I don't understand what Chinese people have against dwarves. We can never have dwarves in our fantasy Asian game. Why? Why is that a thing? I want a dwarf. I want a dwarf, goddammit. I demand a dwarf. I think that my demands are reasonable. I want a dwarf. Gaijin, thank you very much for the souls. Tip of the hat, appreciate support. Thank you. For wearing a Minoto shirt, best girl forever.
Swordsman or woman caught between political turmoil, ancient martial arts traditions, and supernatural forces. The unique thing about Where Winds Meet is what it's going for, as the game blends together fast-paced wuxia-style combat with open-world exploration. You can run across water, scale cliffs, and chain together flashy attacks using different schools of martial arts. Something that you may not initially know about the game on first impressions though, is that it's not just a single-player experience. There's a full co-op system, PvP, dynamic world events, and even social life elements like professions and housing. The devs themselves actually describe it as a sandbox-style adventure where you're free to follow the main story or carve your own path, whether that is becoming a wandering hero, a bounty hunter, a healer, or even a merchant. And that's one of the biggest surprises with Where Winds Meet, which is just how many ways there are to actually play the game, as it's not your typical action RPG setup. We'll start by talking about the single player because honestly, it's way more varied and chaotic than we expected. There is a full story-driven experience here with quests, voiced characters, open-world exploration, and cinematic cutscenes. But what really stood out is how quickly the game shifts gears. One moment you're galloping through a burning village during a dramatic horseback escape, and the next you're tossing a wild bear off a cliff or squaring up in a martial arts tournament. It honestly keeps things moving, and that unpredictability makes it hard to put down. It's one of those games where you're constantly experiencing something different. The boss fights were a real highlight as well. They have weight and intensity that reminds us of something like Wo Long, and they actually feel skill-based with mechanics that force you to engage properly instead of just mashing buttons. The single-player missions offer a more linear path that you can follow if you want to, and will put you in several different missions where you can learn new skills, martial arts, and level up your character. As mentioned, there is fully voice-acted cutscenes, which helps give the story some punch, but right now it is only in Chinese. This might be fine for some, but we did find it a bit disappointing that there's no English voiceover option, especially since the game clearly wants to reach a global audience. Still, the storytelling is solid, just not groundbreaking, although the real weak spot is the animations. It gets the job done, but it's definitely on the stiffer side in places. We'll talk about this a bit more when we go over the polish and visuals later on, but also note that single player isn't the only core mode in the game. So let's talk about co-op, because Where Winds Meet really opens up in ways that other RPGs don't. You can invite your friends to your world and tackle a huge chunk of the game together. Side stories, open world missions, world bosses, and even the crazy minigames. Pretty much everything outside of the main story missions is playable in co-op, and your character progression carries over. What's especially cool is the side stories. Even though they aren't single-player missions, they aren't just filler, as often they're just as in-depth as the main story single-player missions, complete with their own cutscenes, voice acting, and objectives. Some of them also unlock new skills, stances, or moves, which adds some real depth to your build, meaning it's a great incentive to dive into this content with your friends instead of just going solo. That said, the co-op system does take a bit of getting used to. It runs on a shared world structure, which can be quite confusing at first. For example, we played through an entire side story before realizing you need to manually sync progress in the menus, otherwise only the host will get the credit. It's one of those easy to miss mechanics that makes the co-op feel a little unpolished for anyone that isn't the host. On top of this, there are moments where invitees cannot interact with certain objects or trigger events, which can break the flow a bit. So while playing with a friend is definitely fun, it is not the most seamless experience yet. Still, co-op is where the game's most enjoyable moments can happen. Whether you're tag teaming through a tough world boss or messing around with minigames, it's a great way to explore the world together while building out your character, and very surprisingly, it is introduced in the game almost from the outset. And just to be clear, because there is some confusion about it, co-op is not the same as the online mode. That's a whole separate system layered on top that we'll get into next. So unlike the single player and co-op content, which opens up pretty early on, the online mode unlocks once you hit level 10. After that, you can switch over at any time through the pause menu, which loads you into a shared world where you can freely encounter other players. It's basically an MMO-light experience layered on top of the main game. You are still in the same world, doing quests and exploring, but now there's other players running around, random events happening, and access to a bunch of PvP and multiplayer-focused content. While testing it, we even ran into someone that watches the channel here, which was kind of surreal. Now, the matchmaking wasn't perfect during our test, as we did have moments where we struggled to find other players in certain activities, but we did get to try something called a joint strike. This is essentially a co-op dungeon run. You work through multiple levels of enemies, completing smaller objectives and sometimes fighting a boss. At the end of each level, there's a reward chest where you can spend gathered resources to roll for high-level loot. It's a fun, fast-paced mode that feels like a nice break from the open-world roaming. Beyond that, we know the online mode is packed with content, as there is 1v1 and 2v2 duels, team-based PvP modes, large-scale faction wars, and even a full-blown battle royale mode, which is kind of insane. We didn't get to try everything, but the sheer number of modes is actually impressive for a game that's also doing story-driven RPG content. There is also supposedly a housing system tucked into this mode, which lets you own and decorate your own space, similar to what you would find in other MMOs. We didn't get to test this ourselves during the beta though, but it's something we're definitely curious to check out when it is fully live. What makes the online mode so wild is how much content is crammed into it. it's not just tacked on multiplayer, it actually feels like a game inside a game, and while many of the systems do need smoothing out, especially the matchmaking, there is a lot of potential here if the servers can hold up. One of the things that a lot of people are interested in knowing more about though is the combat system and the core gameplay. Where Winds Meet features a traditional action combat style system which is similar to other character action RPGs. At the start of the game, you're taught the basics early. You have light attacks, heavy attacks, charged attacks, parries, and dodges. But the real depth emerges with the defensive system. Red attacks must be parried, while gold and black attacks must be dodged. This means reading enemy cues becomes essential, giving fights a more tactical feel, kind of a bit like Elden Ring or Wo Long. One of the things that really adds depth to the combat though is the different weapons you can pick from. There's 7 distinct different weapon types in the game. Straight swords, which is like your standard sword, a fast and versatile classic. Dual blades, which is a bit more aggressive, with high speed offense, so think of Monster Hunter dual blades. Then you have spears or glaives, which are longer reaching with a bit of crowd control, and this is one of our favorites. There's also heavy swords if you want something a bit slower with more impactful strikes that can break guards.
Jesus,
there's fists or unarmed combat for more close range grappling brawler style gameplay. There's even fans that are a support tool for buffs and healing, and the umbrella, which has ranged magic style attacks with aerial utility. Out of all of these weapons, you can equip 2 different types simultaneously and swap mid-fight seamlessly, making it easy to adapt to different combat styles based on the enemy. On top of the weapons, each one has its own built-in skills, ranging from offensive combos to moves and defensive tools. Then you have the Mystic Arts layer on top, which are powerful abilities you unlock as you explore the world. So whether they deal big burst damage, buff your character, debuff enemies, reposition you, the arts can be woven into your combat for maximum impact. And remember, since you're mixing in parries, reading enemy attack colors, and switching weapons or weaving in arts, the system clicks together and gives you something that feels really responsive, flashy, and satisfying when all of it comes together. The character progression is another strong suit, because you're not just locked into one class or build, instead you unlock different schools of martial arts, stances, and passive upgrades as you play. You can spec your skills and experiment freely, which makes it easier to find a style that suits you. There's side quests, world events, and even co-op missions that will unlock new abilities, skills, or combat techniques, so exploring the world really does feel rewarding. There is also your actual gear progression itself, which is tied to world bosses, chests, and multiplayer modes like the joint strikes we mentioned earlier. Your gear itself has stats, slots, and even visual changes, so there's plenty of room for min-maxing if that is your thing. Some of the skills and abilities you unlock in the game get pretty crazy too, with some of them even allowing you to basically fly across the entire world. It's one of those systems where the more you engage with the game's different modes, the more your character grows, and that's always a good loop to have. Visually, Where Winds Meet is a bit of a mixed bag. There are moments where the game looks genuinely impressive with sweeping landscapes, dynamic weather, and beautifully lit environments. Then there are other times where textures, NPC animations, or environmental details just fall flat. Overall, the graphics is serviceable and they get the job done, but it's not pushing the bar visually like some of the other bigger AAA titles out there. What does stand out though is the music. The soundtrack is fantastic, blending traditional Chinese instruments with sweeping orchestral elements that really elevate the experience. Whether you are exploring peacefully or fighting a boss, the music always feels well paced and helps really sell the atmosphere. It's one of the areas where this game consistently delivers. Now, Where Winds Meet does also give you a solid amount of control.
I was about to ask. There's something that I'm concerned with, and it goes customization, monetization. Okay,
over how your character looks and plays. Right from the start, there is a very detailed character creator that lets you tweak facial features, body shape, hair, and more. As you play, you unlock a wide range of cosmetic outfits, weapon skins, and mount styles. Some of these are earned through quests or events.
That looks like a battle pass.
While others show up in the cash shop, which we'll cover in a moment. The outfits do look great and they really lean into the wuxia fantasy vibe with flowing robes, battle-ready armor, and some more flashy fashion choices too. You can also mix and match your gear's appearance, so you don't have to choose between stats or style. Now, even though Where Winds Meet does look like a premium single-player title, it's actually a free-to-play game, and that naturally raises questions about monetization. During the beta,
You know what's coming. You know what's coming.
We did have access to the full in-game store, but since it was a test environment, we didn't have full access to the currency system. We were given a limited amount to experiment with, which gave us a feel of how things might work in the live version. The store itself includes a lot of cosmetic outfits, a battle pass, and a Genshin-style pool system for cosmetics.
Looks pretty good for me, for what you're getting for free. Yeah, the problem whenever you're dealing with a free-to-play game is that the incentive is going to be for them to either sell you boosters or stuff like that, and artificially gate things away from you. So it's like, you can theoretically do this content if you grind for like 500 hours, or you can spend $5 and here's something that'll speed you along. So that's usually the way. That's usually the way that it goes with a lot of these. I'm not saying that's going to be the case for Where Winds Meet. I have no idea. I'm just saying that usually with a lot of free-to-play games, that's how it goes.
One thing that stood out is how rewards worked in the online mode, specifically in the joint stripes. After you finish a run, you would come across a chest containing high-level loot, but opening these chests required a special resource. This resource...
There it is. Opening a chest requires special resources. Huh. Funny how that works. Free to play. Play it hard on season 1. It'll be the best experience, then walk away. Yeah, that's usually how it goes.
Loot. But opening these chests required a special resource. This resource can be earned through gameplay and just refreshes over time, kind of like energy, but the fact that you can pull an item...
Like a stamina system?
...item in the store that refreshes this instantly does raise a few flags. It is unclear if this is part of a wider energy or gating system, but it could limit how much loot you can grind without spending. So while the store wasn't aggressive in the beta and mostly had things like cosmetics, there are systems in place that could go either way. It all depends how generous the game is with its currency systems and how reliant future content becomes on these time-gated mechanics. We'll definitely be keeping a close eye on this when the game goes live, but for now we don't feel knowledgeable enough about this particular system compared to other parts of the game to come to a real conclusion. It is something to keep an eye on. So after spending 40 hours in Where Winds Meet, it's clear that the game is doing something different. It blends single-player storytelling with co-op flexibility and MMO-style systems in a way that we don't usually see. And while everything hasn't landed perfectly, there is real ambition here and it's hard to ignore. The combat is deep and satisfying, the world is full of surprises, and there's a ton of content packed in even at this early stage. That said, it is a bit rough around the edges in places, with some animation issues, visual inconsistencies, and questions around the monetization that we'll need to keep an eye on post-launch. But overall, we have come away pretty impressed. Hopefully the team can tighten up some things and handle the monetization fairly, but Where Winds Meet clearly has a lot of potential to be something special. But let us know what you think. Are you planning to try it? And if you have already played the beta, drop your thoughts down below in the comments. Here at Arix Gaming, we're two friends who love to play games. You have me, Paradise.
Make sure to check out Arix Gaming. I love Paradise and 2-6. Met them in real life. Two amazing, awesome dudes. Love hanging out with them. Highly recommend. Make sure to subscribe, give them a like, the usual shenanigans. But yeah, I'm not sure that I'm convinced about Where Winds Meet. I'm not sure that I'm convinced about that one. I don't know, dude. I played in closed beta and didn't look at the store. It didn't seem too bad in terms of getting it all. Yeah, but in the closed beta, they're not really going to put the screws on you. Plan to do the same with Outlanders. Oh yeah, like Outlanders for me is going to be like, we're going to play first season or whatever it is, see all there is to do, and I don't know if we're going to be in season 2. We'll see. It all depends on how they monetize it. But I also expect, like, I'm not going into Outlanders with any, you know, any crazy expectation like, oh my god, this game is going to be the best thing ever. It's like, it has interesting systems, But I expect it to be free to play, you know, super exploitative at some point. Has Outlanders mentioned anything about a PC port at all yet? No. But you can do like, what is it? Is it Google Play? Yeah, here, isn't it this thing? Yeah, seamless gaming across mobile and PC. You just get this thing and you'll be able to play mobile games on PC, I think. I think that's how this works. So it's kind of like, you know, one of those phone emulators, whatever the fuck. So this is my plan for Outland. I ain't doing no playing on my phone. Fuck that shit. It's for losers, bro. I'm joking. Do whatever the fuck you want. But I want to play it on PC. BlueStacks, yeah, that's the other thing. I expect the grind in Outlanders to be the hell like it was in the Monster Hunter MMO. I have no idea. I have no idea. But again, like, I need you guys to understand, whenever I jump into a free-to-play game, most of the time I'm expecting the game to, like, you know, it's going to be fair at the beginning, but I'm likely not going to play it too far into the future. I very rarely make long-term plans for free-to-play games. Mobile games are a trap, yeah. Man, you're really giving out clippable, out of context stuff. Am I? I don't know. I don't know, but either way, I'm gonna take a break. That was it for today's edition of Khan's Anvil. If you guys enjoyed it, do hit the like button, subscribe, bell notification icon, all that jazz before our AI overlords completely take over. I'll see you guys in the next one. Tomorrow and on Sunday, I'm going on a Kill Team tournament, so I'm gonna be away. We'll be back on Monday or something. I'll probably do some videos of stuff that we talked about in this show. But yeah, that's gonna be it. I'll see you guys later. Stay strong. Stay safe. Peace out.